coming. How's everybody doing? Good?
We still have some people trickling back in from dinner, so I think they'll be in here soon. Super excited to announce our next speaker is Laura Eisenhower. Oh my God! Laura is a cosmic mythologist, global alchemist, and clairvoyant healing practitioner, and is also the great-granddaughter of Dwight C. David Eisenhower. She is on a profound mission to reveal our true origins connected with the Magdalene and Gaia Sophia energies of love and wisdom, and works to liberate us from false power structures. She brings attention to our hidden ancient history and this ascension process we are living, as our solar system is aligned with the galactic plane, giving us the opportunity to expand into higher earth energies. She also has 3 workshops. She's got one directly after this, or immediately after this. So make sure to get your tickets if you haven't gotten that. The first one is the Sacred Union Activations and Initiations. And then tomorrow, it was from 4 to 5, she's doing the Human Vessel and Ascension. And then again tomorrow night at 7 p.m., she's doing the Galactic Consciousness and Claiming Victory, which we'll announce those again tomorrow as well. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to Laura.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Speaking at the Star Knowledge Conferences is always just such an honor, and I'm just always so thrilled that I get invited back. It's like, yay! Because the energy here is so incredible, and it just feels like family, and it's different than anything, because, I mean, we're really here as a community helping each other through all sorts of things. And I'm just always amazed by just the way I feel while I'm here and when I'm gone from here. It's medicine that I carry in my heart. So I got a lot of interesting information. There's a lot about this ascension window period that I don't even know if most people are aware. I mean, a lot of people aren't aware there's chemtrails, and that's damn obvious. But we have to really begin to understand that we're living in this incredible love story. It's written and encoded in the planetary body and the Earth grids, in the stargates, in the core center of the sun within the Earth. It's the way the story is playing out is written in the cosmos. And we're just all these sort of characters that are either lining up with this true love story or in some sort of distortion or program that keeps us from being able to move through these initiations. So the workshops that I do and that I will be doing and the stuff that I'll be talking about is our chakra system beyond the 7. When we go into the galactic chakras and we start to experience the hierogamic union and how that reconfigures our DNA and everything, and what it takes to have those activations. And then our DNA, our 12-strand DNA, and how that connects with the 13th gate and the energies that are beyond physicality in the energy matrix. The masculine energy, the feminine, and then the child. So it's basically the Trinity, but we're looking at it from a much more sort of metaphysical level in how we can access that. And so when we look at galactic history and we see this story being played out, with all the different galactic wars and all the different things that took place at different dimensional levels, when we go through these initiations, we sort of relive some of them or experience memories or even attacks, because these controller groups don't want us to initiate beyond the 7 chakras. A lot of those chakras are being kind of messed with. So the sound healing is really important because it helps to clear those vibrations, and it opens up that doorway for us to be able to achieve something greater. And if we don't work on the 7, how can we possibly get to the others? Because we keep running into gatekeepers. And so these manipulations have been put in us. And the history is just incredible, because we're in a free will universe. And so the masculine and feminine not being in balance really gives birth to this sort of Luciferian negative ego, false light energy. And we see that, being played out. But it's not just in the stories or the mythologies, it's actually what they did to the Earth grids. They unplugged the Albion and the Cathar lines, and it impacted our DNA on top of tinkering with us. We see how these archetypal energies are just, really trying to bring it all back. And so these presentations are going to be a bit about the love story where we see, like, how the hell is Persephone in the underworld with the Hades guy? Like, instead of being in this connection of Christ consciousness. And so these initiations have to do with those stories that we live out. You know, when we're in our own kind of underworld with some sort of control force, keeping us from being able to be in our power, and how we need to sort of lift ourselves out of it. And so the journey of the labyrinth and, you know, doing all that alchemy is really important. But that alchemy is encoded in the earth and in the stars and in, you know, our own being. The knowledge of that was wiped out. It's not like that gets passed down to us. You know, like we learned in school, like how to do soul alchemy. We might hear about, you know, some sort of alchemy in a lab, but soul alchemy, you know, is really where it's at, because we have the 4 elements. We have the 5th element that connects with the ether, but these control groups have created all these inversions and distortions, even with the sacred geometries, most especially the dodecahedron, which connects to the ether. And so when we want to create that shift and move into these higher energies, it's like we've got manipulation upon manipulation, not just the technologies that have been put in place to affect the earth grids and our DNA, but the programmings and the false flags and the things that we're raised in that distort our viewpoint of ourselves and each other, which makes relationship, you know, really hard, because that's what's being targeted. So we're in this greater love story, you know, dealing with these imposter energies that are like the bad boyfriend or the bad girl, you know, it's just, and we play it out and we don't realize it because it's encouraged. And so, but this is happening on like multi-dimensional layers where this history shows us how these wars, you know, really impacted creation. I mean, Tiamat and Apsu were sort of, you know, in the higher earth energies of Tara, were the sacred union couple, or they represented that energy, even though it was like a planetary body, you know, and it was a water energy. When the imbalance got to be to a certain extreme, the planet Tiamat exploded and Tara sank. It's like, that's the impact of what imbalance can do when you're leaning this way or that way. And the thing is, they compromise their DNA on purpose. And so it's to maintain control. And it's kind of shocking because if you think about it, we have a right hand and a left hand, a right brain and a left brain. And to pull ourselves out of our own balance to a degree that we've, you know, seen where there's cataclysms and exploded planets, and, you know, we got the asteroid belt from that. And then the sinking into this lower density, it's like, okay, now the story's changing. Now the goddess morphs into the physical planet and brings in the energies of the 7D Gaia, which goes beyond 7, 8, and 9, which is the monadic and herogamic integration of the masculine and feminine, all the way up to the Trinity. And she goes from 13th gate all the way in and morphs into the physical planet and creates this Mother Earth, loving us and nurturing us and encouraging us to create this harmonious relationship. But she leaves behind all these mythologies of, I'm, you know, going into the underworld, and Hades is, you know, stepping on me, being a jerk. And so, you know, while that's happening, all these other things start to happen. It's like the goddess is exiled. So all these distortions and all these other things are happening, while on a soul level, we're trying to resurrect ourselves out of that and connect to the Christ consciousness again. And that's what we've been doing as a humanity. I mean, we're living these myths. Other, you know, mythologies connected to it. I mean, just look at any of the goddess archetypes or names. You know, you got Isis, you got, I mean, the whole thing in Avalon with, you know, many, many names, and Danu and Lilith and Eve, and I mean, all these stories. Same thing with the masculine. All we need to really do is look at a tarot deck and look at the zodiac and realize we're carrying all these archetypes. We have to teach them how to get along. We need to integrate and bring them back into balance to change the frequency of everything going on, which actually disables these dark technologies. The only reason the dark technologies work is because we bought into the programming. The only reason that chemtrails would have an impact on us is because we bought into the programming. Because when we move up the ladder into these higher dimensional energies, it can handle all that. I mean, it's powerful. Spirit knows how to alchemize. But the thing is, we don't want to be compartmentalized, so we have to ground it and anchor it. So that's why we go into the underworld or go into the labyrinth, because our DNA synthesizes with the planetary body, and it becomes, you know, this co-creation. And in the cosmos, we've had the Venus transits to offset the inversions of the pentagram. And then the 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus, came online, which is opposite Orion in the sky. So you got this masculine and feminine. So how are we going to heal the Orion Wars? We're going to bring that feminine energy back and make amends by really being in unity consciousness, because we are the holders of these stories. And so if we want to heal the war, we have to recognize that the war is within us and amongst ourselves, because it's all been geared towards conquer and dividing us, conquering and dividing us, splitting up important relationships if it can, and dividing us on the inside so that we're living sort of this subpersonality of, a completely different type of dynamic where, the characteristics of it would be the negative ego is ruling and suppressing our higher consciousness, and it wants to have its way, and it's acting all childish, and it's not able to handle the real initiations. Because people don't understand Christ's teachings because they keep saying, if you mention the word Christ, oh, you're religious. It's like, God, it's so sad. Can't even say the word ascension. Oh, you new age freak. It's like, no, this is ancient, and this is like inside of us. These are initiations that are inside of us. It's like, a rose is going to blossom. I mean, it's already written into the seed. And so when the planetary body was seeded, or when the goddess energy morphed into it, the last 26,000 years have been about our rehabilitation. And so when we look at something like the asteroid belt, we're looking at all these different archetypal energies that are not so much of in the Trinity anymore. They're many, many, many different personality types and traits. And so you go from, father, mother, the Christ Sophia child, to 78 cards in a tarot deck. It's like, okay, we're bringing it together. We're bringing it together. So even the asteroids, we have like Juno, we have Vesta, we have Chiron. And it's Chiron that's actually the ruler of the 13th sign, Ophiuchus. So that's the goddess energy, dealing with the wounds, dealing with the ancient wounds. So it's incredibly difficult energy to handle because we're not, especially, men aren't taught to express their emotions. So thank you, Dr. Dream, for all the tears you shed, because, it helps, push people in that direction. I mean, it's so important. The masculine needs to feel into the feminine needs to feel into that warrior energy. And it's funny because, I talk a lot about the divine feminine, and I don't feel feminine at all because I've been on such a warrior path. I totally feel like a dude now. I'm just like divine feminine. I don't what is all that about? I don't even have time to brush my, it's not the kind of hair you can brush, but so anyway, it's but we're playing out these roles and this and that, but it's just you almost forget because it's taken so much fire and so much determination to bust through those layers, especially when you start to go past the 7th, then you get all the psychic attack. It's just sitting there in your spiritual path and just all of a sudden you're being nailed by psychotronic weaponry because you're beginning to embody the true love story. You're beginning to start to experience that potential happily ever after. And they're like, no, you must stay low, you must stay down. And so getting through a lot of that is difficult. So why the wounded healer? Well, the wounded healer has to be the warrior, but also has to have that nurturing sensitivity. The feminine or the masculine, we have to remember we have masculine and feminine within us. So when we talk about the feminine role, it's not separate from a male. And when we talk about the male role, it's not separate from the feminine. This relationship is being healed within ourselves. I have Uranus sitting on my Chiron, and Uranus moves real slow, and it's driving me nuts because what it does, if the wounded healer Chiron brings us into our deepest wounds and afflictions, and Uranus is the planet of shock, upheaval, crisis, then I'm pretty much traumatized all the time. And it's just okay, it's can't make you stop, Uranus. It's just because it's lightning bolts. We don't have a whole lot of control over Uranus, because it's an outer planet. Same with Neptune and Pluto. So they give us activations, they give us experiences that will help us to upgrade and help us to go through the transformational cycles we need to get to the next level. But it's just I'm just out of all the degrees and all the places you could have landed, especially during the shift time, you have to sit on Chiron. That's great. So in a lot of ways, because of the 13th gate and Chiron ruling the 13th zodiac sign, I know it's connected to that, and it's also the planet of epiphanies and great awakening and truth. So, but that's a serious place to be bringing truth, because we're going all the way back to the galactic war. We're going all the way back to the beginning of that story, because Uranus is not going to leave you alone until you're done. So it's literally I'm being electrocuted every day to go into those zones and work on, healing that stuff. And it's just and I know we all have a lot of, crazy sort of energies going on, but the whole deal is that we're in this profound window period. And it's very liberating to know that we're writing the script of these myths and working on embodying the true love by being willing to cut ourselves off from the imposter, from the matrix energies, from the distortions, from everything, that is trying to keep us down. So it's one thing to expose conspiracy. It's another thing to live your life as a sovereign being, free of it, and able to really, own and anchor yourself on a timeline that's going to take you into the vast horizon of what love, means and what it represents. So with this Tiamat explosion and all that, and the goddess energy being very present with us, working with the planet Venus to create the sacred geometry, to turn the inverted pentagram upright again, to assist us in this alchemical process, it's not as complicated as it sounds, because it's like, oh, geez, how do we do this? It's like, it's already happening, The thing is, distraction and programming and artificial intelligence and transhumanism takes us completely off the map and into a whole other world, a phantom Earth, and something that's an artificial copy of the true creation. And it's a really crappy copy, if you know what I mean. So people who choose that or see that as the signs of the time, moving into a more advanced culture, great scientific breakthroughs. I mean, of course, there are going to be some that are good for us. There are going to be some technologies that work for our soul development or work in unison with that, and nature and are in harmony with all that. But then you have this other one that basically will eventually destroy all biological life. But you got these people that are all excited, because they're linked up to whatever controller groups they've made agreements with, who have tempted them into all sorts of potential positions of fame and wealth, that it doesn't matter because it's instant gratification, which is a negative ego energy. So no wonder they call it the Luciferian type energy, because there was a rebellion way back when. But to me, it's about the soul architecture. It's not about what entity did what. It's about saying, we've got them all within us. What are we going to empower? What are we going to allow to drive the ship and sail our boat? Lucifer, you can pull in the jib, okay? Because the Christ consciousness and the goddess energy are going to walk or stand side by side and steer it through all these storms and all the different shifting weather. So in these times, it's just really important to just stay conscious and to really look at this stuff and to fine tune the experience to really see, where you may have given your power away, where you might be an enabler of these energies, and where you might have, a place that needs, strengthening or, and this is why it's so great with the community we all have here, because we can hold each other's hands, we can cry in each other's arms, we can laugh at it all too, and we can be real. Because the thing is with Chiron, we're taught to shove our wounds away or appease it with something. I mean, and sometimes people just think, oh, the addictions are alcohol or drugs. What about like money? What about the need for status? What about the need for, so much to give us a sense of self-worth? I mean, that's an addiction. We should be fine sitting on a pile of mulch with nothing. Just, I don't know why I said mulch, but they have huge mulch piles everywhere. I'm like, God, I'd like climb that one. And just, because it's a different, it's all perception. So if you have nothing, you could have a perception of lack and poverty and scarcity, or you could have a feeling of, I'm free of it all, and I'm a creator, and I'm a manifester, and I'm going to pull what I need out of thin air. And that's what we have the potential to experience if we could allow these upgrades to give us our full capacity on a DNA level. But instead, we're programmed with these judgments on ourselves, or my God, if we get depressed, something's seriously wrong, or if we're angry, like, oh, that's not enlightened. It's like, oh, yes, it is. In my world, you got to be you, And the fullness of you being you is going to bring the rest of you back into balance. I mean, you try putting a lid on a volcano. Try telling the earth not to quake, but it needs to quake. I mean, the tension builds, and we end up, actually, we can manifest illness. But the thing is, we have to understand the other side of the coin, or else we're going to maybe stagnate. The other side of depression to me is discovering our deeper soul longing and recognizing that we're not just here to have a carrot waved in front of our face, like, ha, you don't get that. But you can suffer over it because you want it so bad. But then there's that whole technique of, oh, you got to let it go so it can come back to you. It's just like, I'm letting it go. Like, are you coming back now? But so there is an energetic formula to working the energy. But of course, the other side of anger is passion. The other side of confusion, can also be clarity, or the ability to step back and say, I need some dream time. I would really benefit from taking a few days off and just sleeping. Forget that word lazy, And so culture has given us so many things to get in the way of our experience, because we're sitting there so busy judging ourselves for not standing up to what? I don't see any examples out there that we want to stand up to anyway. So it's just a program. It's like, I mean, Hillary Clinton's having all sorts of issues, I just heard. She can barely walk or do this or that, and people are giving her shots of something. They're like, oh, it's blood thinner because she has a heart issue. I'm like, no, it's probably something so that she can maintain human form so she doesn't shapeshift into a reptilian in front of everybody. It's just like, but you can't say that. I mean, you can't really say that, you know, so when you're sitting around a table of people that are concerned about her health, it's just like, come on, no. It's like they're pumping her up with something so she doesn't shapeshift into a reptilian. It's like, and this makes sense to us. But like out in that world that gives us all these stigmas, we can't even like have a normal conversation. And it's just like, that's not an air show that's been going on for decades. We're being sprayed. And so the thing is, you know, transhumanism and taking us down this potential artificial intelligence path, the unwillingness to see the game being played underneath it all does not allow us to have the alchemy, does not allow us to have the upgrades. And so technology begins to take over. And technology becomes the vehicle for ascension. And guess what happens? You become an EBE, or you become some sort of digressed, even gray, and you come and you abduct yourself to get genetic information to heal from that choice. And that's really what's happening. I wouldn't say all grays are like that. Some are very advanced. There's different levels of where they've gone down the timeline and what they've experienced. Some, I mean, there's grays from the Orion Wars that were engineered or genetically modified. I mean, the tall whites used to be, you know, something completely different. So these reptilian Dracos, I mean, I'm thinking they came in from another universe. They came in because when the masculine and feminine differentiated, it created a hostile environment. Just like when we're out of balance, it's easy to catch things and have, you know, attacks, or it's easier to get sick. And so we deal with an invasion on some level when we're out of balance. So we're learning in the larger picture, well, that happened on a larger picture level. I mean, we are the micro macro. Our DNA connects with the earth grids. The chakra system that we have connects to all the multidimensional realms, and each harmonic universe represents a different portion of our chakra system and our DNA. So when we bust down some of those walls, we change the nature of our reality, and we actually help to liberate humanity, you know. And it's the whole thing with, it doesn't take huge numbers. I mean, just a group of us just working energy together can impact, you know, on such a profound level. But the thing is, you know, if we don't allow ourselves to move through these initiations because we're busy judging ourselves, or we're putting our attention on what's happening, I guess, in the media from a place of not being an observer, but really like gobbling it up like it's truth, and we buy into the so-called scientific breakthroughs and become sort of, you know, embedded in that kind of that mass consciousness that hasn't really woken up. Yeah, that's what we want to protect, and that's what we're trying to keep people from, because we all get it. I mean, I'm not trying to pat our ego, but like, we're not running that energy. I mean, this is the role we play. You know, it's our responsibility to, you know, steer people away from it, but it can't necessarily get, you know, super complex. A lot of it is just about holding a space of love and, you know, doing your best planting seeds and, you know, just keeping the information out there. I mean, I look at it like you're in a parade and you're just throwing stuff out to the crowd, but if you get off of it and you look to see who's eating it and who's taking it seriously or who's shoving it in their pocket for later, it's like you're going to get distracted and you're going to lose the momentum of being able to just move forward. You know, we just have to embrace the role. And, you know, I've definitely, I experienced a lot of attacks, but sometimes it just cracks me up so much. It's just like, and if I have like a need to just run a lot of fire energy, you know, that's a great outlet for me to go. It's like any comment on YouTube. It's like, if somebody else pushed my buttons and I need a place to release, I'll just look at one of those comments and be like, oh yeah. Like, but like a little bit of tough love. And it's just like, you know, and making fun of their occupation as a troll. Like, really, that's really a great life choice you got going on there, huh? And then some people, they're not trolls. They're just confused. They can't handle the information. So, you know, I'm not the kind of person that wants to just drop a lot of information and be like, see ya. It's like, no, I get the discomfort. I get the questions. So I try as best as I can to hold space and be patient with those that are having, I guess it's almost like a detox reaction, you know, where they're feeling almost like they could be deprogrammed and they're fighting against it at all costs. So I just do my best and be like, why do you even bother with those people? It's like, well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just, we just are going to do what we're going to do. And I'm not going to judge myself for whatever I decide. I mean, I do sit around for a good portion of the day, you know, criticizing myself for certain things, but I'm a work in progress and it helps me to reach a higher potential. But I got to remember to not like identify with it too much where it really starts to, you know, take me away. But You know, part of the Chiron energy is, you know, being able to face your wounds. And without having that maturity and ability to self-reflect, you're not only spreading this stuff to others, you might potentially be harming them or taking something away. You know, it's kind of like a kid in the sandbox that doesn't share. It's just like, gosh, you just had to ruin everything. I mean, we have to understand that we all impact each other. And so the greatest gift I would say in these times is embrace the non-perfection of it all. You know, the perfect part is where our hearts are at, you know, where our ability to be real with each other and authentic, our ability to, you know, really express how we're feeling instead of what we think other people would want us to be. And on both sides, there's always something to be gained from that. So Chiron connected to the 13th gate, connected to the 13th dimensional energy that's inside this planet. When the 13th sign came on in 2010, that's when the activations were really starting to happen. And the greatest target to keep that from happening is to keep the feminine ungrounded and to keep, you know, so I don't know, like, who put Uranus on my Chiron, because that's incredibly ungrounding. I'm like, really? Like, during this time, it's like, out of all things, I get the most ungrounded planet on the wounds. So that's why I wave my arms around and I talk really fast. So anyway, I'm going to handle it, and obviously it's for a reason. But I mean, it forces me to talk about my wounds because this is electrical energy that affects your nervous system. So I don't have a flippant choice, or I'll pop. So I like to be transparent. Because, you know, we're all, you know, kind of doing this together. But what I like is the simplicity of knowing it's a love story, though, and knowing that the more, you know, we can embrace the wounds and see the diamonds that they can become and see the jewels of wisdom that can come out of it and the knowledge that can come out of it, we actually move the targeting on the tree of knowledge, which has been mind control, and we move into control over the self, you know, self-awareness. That's the true path of knowledge. That takes us to gnosis. So we have to be able to look at it like that, because look at all the mind control. So we have the tree of knowledge. Okay, so we're going to go through the steps that we need to go through in order to share codes and get our DNA back and have root races instead of come in with our full capacity like we had before, where we could come and go as we pleased. But you got benevolent ET races, you got malevolent ET races, and everybody's just kind of trying to influence us while we have the free will choice to decide what we're going to align with. So if we're in this mode of tree of knowledge, we got to gain knowledge. Well, what's the best way to gain knowledge? Get to know your wounds, get to know your passions, get to know what inspires you, and just get real, like, intimate with that. And because that knowledge, once we get a grip on the crimes against humanity, the atrocities, the assaults, and we step away from allowing it to have any power over us, but we actually turn that weapon into something of a tool, then what more can they possibly throw? Because we're thinking on an alchemical level. You know, it's like, and I've said this before, but, you know, looking at chemtrails, I mean, I still, you know, it's still upsetting, but I use it to empower me. It's like, I mean, this is just a small portion of the goddess's body. We're the whole picture. We're only experiencing a limited version of her because we're limited. So when people say 3D Earth, it's like, this isn't a 3D Earth. This is a 13-dimensional goddess energy. The 13th gate takes us right into the 0 point, which is a neutron window that connects to Andromeda and the 7 higher heavens. So it's like, we haven't even begun yet. And like, if we think we're having fun, it's just like, so we're trying to preserve that because there's so much joy to be had. And so, yes, it's freaky with transhumanism and mind control and all this kind of stuff. But if it doesn't work on you and you're immune to it, you know, at this point, we're going to leave breadcrumbs. It's just like, or drop a rope. Like, we're over here now, okay? Like, we can't really be this empathic anymore. It's starting to really hurt. Or whatever it is we're doing. It's like, it's really time to shift. And it's a beautiful unfolding that only requires our authenticity and devotion, just to be real with ourselves, to begin to unplug from those judgments, from those programs, and from the impact that some of these things can have on our physical body and our physical health, because we're breathing it in and we're exposed to it. But when we get the energetic clue, our body responds, because physicality responds to energy. So as long as we sort the things out on an energetic level, our body will, you know, say, great. I mean, and the thing is, you know, we see the energy of the balance of the masculine and feminine, and what that produces. It produces magic and miracles and bliss and just expansion. And you know that the minute something kind of takes that away, it hurts immediately. So that's right there. It just shows how sensitive we are to love or lack of love, manipulation or cooperation. And I mean, I think we all know what being triggered is, right? You know, where somebody says something, or you experience something that reminds you of something that hurt you in the past. It's also, you know, about holding space for that and looking at it and not creating that judgment of, oh, it's a weakness. You know, our weaknesses are incredible strengths, you know. So we're doing this amazing alchemy, and the Venus transits have given us this most amazing sacred geometry to lift that inversion back up again. And what we need to do is just align with it. And when we align with it, we allow our inner elements to be purified. And if we can give ourselves that gift, the earth is going to respond, and we're going to notice that we're shifting into a higher earth energy, because we're purifying our waters, we're healing our fire energy, we're discovering our passions instead of being so angry. We're clearing our minds of the controls and the programmings, and we're being able to think clearly. And we're taking care of the earth body, which is ours, our temple, and we're honoring it. And we're in service to that so that we can be of service to others. And when we do that, I mean, everything, you know, responds, because we are in this lucid dream, you know, but if we're limited and if we're not doing the inner work, we're only going to see things that reflect that. But at the same time, you know, we're at this place where we can see other people's timeline or reality, and you know, and this is a time where everybody's making a choice. Which train are you going to jump on, the artificial timeline over there or the organic ascension timeline? And so the world is very linked into potentially moving in that direction, because we've already done it. Those are the ETs that are coming back and saying, don't mind me, I'm just going to do this to you and take this and do that. And I do counseling sessions, but I've seen all sorts of scenarios. It's not always about those agreements. You know, I work with people that have had abductions experiences, and there's certain agreements that you have with that being to help them, that you're willing to go through that in order to assist them in getting something that could eventually heal their race, so that they can rebuild their emotional body and they can rebuild whatever has digressed. Because most of the grays have been enslaved, and they want to heal, but they're stuck in the middle, and they're kind of, you know, when they're malevolent, they're not considering us as much. But then there's certain races that actually have gotten to a higher level because we help them to evolve and heal. And so those are the ones that are further into the future, called P52s versus like P42s, which Dan Burris talks about. So as the healing happens, a person's going to have a different kind of experience with a particular race or group. I mean, we're experiencing the past, the future, the now all at once, and we're seeing what happens if we make certain choices. But the thing is, we compartmentalize it all. It's like, oh, we got the ETs over here, we got the mythology over here, we got, you know, this 3D reality and the conspiracies over there. But it's like, what about all these dots that connect? So being born into the Eisenhower family, it was like being much more connected to the deeper soul journey and going off. I mean, I was out of my body for 20 years, and the only thing keeping me alive was my Kundalini. And I was like, it was really tough to stay alive every day. And I'm finishing a book about it. But I bumped into this Clairvoyant Institute. It sort of bumped into me. I was going to go to this herbal school, and they got me in immediately, and they're just like, "Ooh, she's not in her body at all." And they were telling me that I was channeling beings that were similar to me, that could act like me, to run my body for me, because I basically died, and that my Kundalini was keeping me alive this whole time. So like, I was, you know, supercharged in the Kundalini department, and that was keeping me grounded enough. But, you know, the rest of me always wanted to go with the rest of wherever I was. And so when I talk about the labyrinth and going into the underworld and these multidimensional layers, dealing with, you know, gatekeepers and what they were saying, like clearing inorganic entities from wormholes, I'm like, yes, I'm going to take some courses here. They totally get me. Like, I mean, because I was like, this is a double life. You can't, what are you going to do with this? And you can't stop it, you know? And so it was easier to carry the projections and to be, Laura's just weird. It's like, okay, I don't have to explain what I'm doing. You're going to thank me later, maybe, or not. Doesn't matter. It has to be done, because, you know, a lot of it also is just because I can't be here otherwise. You know, it's like, let's do something here so that, you know. And so we all are doing this kind of energy work. We might not be as hyper analytical about it and really, you know, get to the nitty gritty of what it's all about, but we're always doing energy. We wouldn't be where we are right now if we weren't doing constant energy work. But that was really my thing throughout my whole life, was more the energy work. I do so many tarot readings a day. I mean, I've got hardened calluses on my fingers, and luckily my friends are just used to it. They're just, that's just what she does. She just shuffles. And it's been 20 something years of nonstop working global energy. Sometimes I throw in a personal thing like, hey, what about this situation I'm in. And of course, it's usually, you know, it's all, you know, connected. But so the energy work has always, you know, been a lot just, and sometimes you just want a vacation from it, but you can't. It's just like, you know, and that's the Uranus thing that's just like, get up, you know, like that was plenty of time. You know, we're kind of in this boot camp. At least I feel like I am. And it doesn't seem to want to quit. But this whole other element of like, okay, whatever about not being in my body and the underworld and the labyrinth, like, okay, being in the Eisenhower family, this is like going to be a dot connecting like extravaganza. And it has been. When I really started to understand, well, because he's been working with me since I was a kid and gave me an idea about what my mission was, and same with, you know, these other beings and Christ energy and everything was just like preparing me. And I shared a room with my sister, and she's like, "What the hell is going on with my sister?" She's like, "Did you see that? Like, did you hear what he said?" And and you know, when we're kids, we have our magical abilities, right? And mine were like really switched on. I was doing all sorts of like crazy things, and my sister was just, she thought she dreamt it, and I thought I dreamt it, that she didn't see it. And anyway, so it got beaten out of me just like everybody else over time. But it shows up when I need it most, like if I hold the right energy, but I have to catch myself. So being in the field of wilderness expedition leadership is really helpful because I could observe and learn what working energy means and what happens when you shift perspective or when you shift your energy. And we're talking like pure magic and manifestation and miracles compared to, you know, sort of attracting dark situations and difficult people or just calamity. And I was observing how other people were working their energy. And I thrived in this field. I was like, thank God, because, you know, all the, you know, like, I mean, literally when I left high school, it was like, wow, you got serious learning disabilities. Like you're incredibly weird. And you just went most out of touch with reality for the senior class. I'm like, I don't know where I'm heading in life. I don't know what's going on with this, but it was just like, it brought me right back to center. And it reminded me, this is what you're here to do. It's all about understanding the energy. So having the catalyst of the Eisenhower family, okay, military industrial complex, there's deeper layers, there's something about ET government treaties, I need to figure this out. Okay, 2006, I got recruited to go off planet to go to Mars. Big mistake coming to find me because I was able to lift the lid up and expose all sorts of things that they had basically destroyed and almost gotten rid of. It took me 2 weeks or 3 weeks of research to link some of these crimes and mind control and psychotronic weaponry and my lab type stuff with these people. But they couldn't do that to me. They could only manipulate me through a partner to try and get me to go. And they had pulled him into a project when he was a child. So, and I've learned so much about the different projects and the different scenarios that they set up in order to try and create a timeline that they want. So a lot of the energy work has been, I don't want to be on that timeline. So I'm going to destroy it. And in the process, it almost destroys you because there's so much that's wanting that to happen. And they want to own you so bad that you have to almost trick them by doing this like little death rebirth thing to kind of get off the radar and sort of renew yourself and regenerate on your own terms. So it's been a constant process of dying and regenerating on my own terms as a sovereign being, creating my own timeline, you know, being of service and, you know, being all about unity consciousness, knowing I'm not up here. This isn't my voice. This is all our voices. I just want to be a voice for our unity. I mean, it's all about the hidden potential that exists within all of us. There's no hierarchy here. You know, some of us are reminders, some of us are active. I mean, we're all doing that for each other. And we don't even have to talk about this stuff to do it. I mean, I see charts where people just carry in their voice print all the codes that are released. Like you talk about taking out the trash, and that person's gonna be in a fetal position for a month because they have no idea what the hell hit them because of, you know, the activation you gave them, because it's carried in your voice. So that's really awesome. So anyway, layer upon layer of really understanding how dark the darkness is and how screwed up these agendas have been. I mean, I know it's difficult for people to hear about them, but it's been difficult to come to terms with. You know, I was very aware of the patriarchal stuff and the balance of the masculine and feminine. That's the whole reason, you know, I did the energy work I was doing out of my body, was to, you know, be able to access some of the places that they put the lock and key on and put the vault on. And also they've rewritten history. So you don't hear about these other dimensional Earths that we used to exist upon, and the other, you know, Earth stories connected to like Gaia, 7D Gaia that collapsed and is now encoded the planetary body with the zodiac and stargates that have been controlled by these controlling entities. So what we see on the world stage and what we've seen in the political world and how it connects to Eisenhower's administration and what happened after the Second World War is so tied into these mythologies and the balance of the masculine and feminine, and all these outer facades are completely and totally targeting that. All the dark rituals and things that they do have that energy targeted. I mean, look at the Baphomet. I mean, that represents the Sophia energy, and it's all in Dark Mother reversal, so that we're digressing instead of ascending. So it's taken a lot to face these wounds, but that's what it's about. Chiron, the wounded healer right now, being mature about your wounds, being willing to face them, being willing to work with them, and being okay that maybe you're freaking wounded and you're not always going to be at your best. And I know people have seen, my last 2 years have been so horrendously difficult, you know, and I know people have just wondered, oh my God, you know, is she going to be okay? I think I'm going to be okay. But, you know, God knows, I think 5 visits to the ER. But it always becomes a comedy show because it's just funny. I mean, we're just humans bumbling around this or that, just dealing with the most crazy things. But I don't ever get used to this, you know, this stuff that they're doing. I mean, every morning I wake up feeling like, oh, it's just like being kicked in the gut and thrown down a mountain. And it's just like, okay, we got this, we got this. And then just simple things like laughter and recognizing the dream and recognizing that all the initiations are within, and that's how we're going to change our reality. We don't have to fight the system or try and save the planet. We just need to love ourselves and do right by ourselves and be curious and interested enough in who we truly are and what we're made of to stand in our power, because that frequency they can't touch. And that's why they have programming. So our frequency is resonant with their game, and so that we get locked in it. And we have ourselves to blame for that, but we have to cut ourselves a lot of slack because it's been stacked against us and we're conditioned as children. So it's not, blame wouldn't be the right word. We have to just recognize the game, love ourselves, forgive ourselves, and say from this point on, with this knowledge, going backwards would not be wise. And that's where maybe we could say, okay, the word blame, but I don't like that word. But anyway, so my talks will be really in depth about all of this. Some of the galactic wars, the impact it's had on our DNA and where we've gone in different dimensional levels, and how this particular planetary body holds the key to all of it. And we are her, and we are the Christ consciousness, and we are restoring that relationship within ourselves, because it's the one thing that can't be destroyed. Everything else expires. They only want technology to keep it alive, and they do their best to keep that alive. But, you know, it's a simple statement of, nope, that's not for me. I'm a sovereign being. This is where I'm headed. And hopefully it'll inspire others to join in. And the thing is, it's an epiphany that's just waiting. It's a dream that you might just wake up to and say, oh my God, I get it. It's something that might just click like that. So we worry about our friends and families, or if so going to get it. As an astrologer, I've noticed, you know, people do set up life events. And a lot of times it's adverse. It has to do with injury and illness and all these things that help to give a person the ability to step back and ask real questions. You know, and when those questions are asked, what are you going to do? Are you going to give your power away? Are you going to let that doctor tell you how long you have to live? Are you going to take that drug that's keeping you from being able to really understand it? Or are you going to, you know, really dive into it and get to know yourself and get to know why it's showing up? And, you know, the thing is, it's a blessing. All adversity is an incredible blessing and an opportunity to grow and learn and evolve. Sometimes we got to play with both, though, because, you know, we are human, and sometimes it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with having some assistance from a doctor, but we have to remind ourselves that this is an incredible opportunity. We've been taught that, oh, it's an affliction or something's wrong with me. It's like, no, actually something's right, because something's showing up in your life right now to open you up to something profound. So I'm all about, you know, taking adversity and turning it into something wonderful. Because if we're going to be alchemists, we might as well have it cover all categories, because we have to think it, we have to own it, we have to embody it for ourselves to be able to do it on a mass scale, which we're doing. And so remember, it's already happening in the cosmos. I'll show you in my presentation what's happening with Venus and what it's been doing, and what's happening in the Earth body, and what's going on with the 13th zodiac and the precession of the equinoxes going into these gateways, so that, you know, it'll really help your body ground in those truths. And you take and leave, you know, your truth is your truth. Take what resonates and leave the rest. But it's really here to empower the vessel, so that you're prepared for these high energies coming in, and also prepared, you know, for the other games that are being played. But it's so damn obvious at this point. I don't think any of us are in need of reminders that people like Hillary Clinton shouldn't be, because if you see, it is that false feminism movement. You know, it's taking a problem that has injured humanity and saying, hey, look, we're progressing as a humanity. Look what we've got here. It's like, no, that's not it. So anyway, I'm thrilled to be here. And Yeah, enjoy your own personal love story. Make it happily ever after, because we can. The fairy tale's real. I'm all about it. So anyway, thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Laura. That was extremely awesome. So her first workshop is coming up next in just a few minutes. It's really funny. So the first time I heard Laura speak was in December, and I had never heard anything resonate so much in my life like crown chakra explode. I was sitting in one of these rows, looking around for help. I learned this trick from Granddaughter Code to like rebalance your energy, and I'm sitting here thinking like, it's not working. I'm gonna pass out. She said this is so amazing. So thank you for all your wisdom. Can you everybody feel the downloads? They came in, super awesome. Give her another round of applause. She also has 2 workshops tomorrow. One at was it 4, and then the other one at 7. Thanks. And then I believe you guys come up here, or we're about to have Claudia come up and speak. And then so the workshops that are going on right now are Laura's in where's that? Which room? She's in the maker room right here. And that's the only other workshop that will be going on next. And then Claudia Davis will be coming up to speak, and Grant's going to come up and he'll give her proper. I'm drawing blank, I apologize. It's been a long day. That's what happens when you say that you're starving and singing songs really good. Yeah. Here you go, Grant. Thank you, everybody. And don't forget at 9 p.m., Dr. Dream is doing a galactivation with 111 bowls. It's going to be amazing. So make sure everybody comes back here at 9 as well to experience that, okay? 8.
So we got a minute or two. It's so exciting with Laura. Oh, she just breathes right here. I didn't think that much could be done into one. Oh, she sets a new standard. I'm really excited about the woman that I get to talk to and slowly and gracefully bring up, because I can tell you that she made a very important life-changing impact on my life last night. So she has a great power. She helped me understand, was able to do great magic and bring me right up into a special place in my childhood. Like it's no drama, it's no big deal. We just clear it right away. And her knowing came in just the right graceful time, just the right graceful way to set in a lot of things that enable me to receive the great blessing I received. That's this woman right there. It's Claudia Davis. We're excited. Come on, Claudia. Come and show us what you got.
Hi. I want to say hi to everybody. I welcome everyone. My biggest, I just want to offer a tone of gratitude from my heart to Golden Light Eagle and to all the indigenous people that are here today, and their blessings that they have given us, and the amazing ceremonies that have happened, not only for us personally, but for the planet and for the galactic part of the universe. I mean, the Galactic Federation, the Central Sun. I mean, there were things that has happened in the last 24 hours that are just absolutely magnificent. And I'm so grateful, and thank you. Thank you to all of the light beings that have been here to give us our downloads, give us our affirmations that we're on the right path, that we're going the right way. And I'm so grateful for the space and everything that's happened at Star Knowledge Conference. And I thank everybody that's here that has supported it. Even the people that are in the wings that really haven't really even said anything. You don't even know they're there doing their best work. So my name is Claudia Davis. I'm kind of sort of not from here. I, like Laura, had a pretty, my childhood was, it wasn't really traumatic, but I really didn't fit the mold of the family thing and everything else, because I was always this little creative spark off getting into my own mischief with my own things. And I didn't find out until this last year, and I very seldom have readings or anything. I just kind of figure things out myself. And I had a reading with Cheryl Watson, who will be here tomorrow speaking. And I asked her, I said, you know, I'm having trouble accessing my soul record, and I would really like to have some information about that. And so she just went into that place and downloaded all this information. And so I actually volunteered, like a lot of us did, a lot of us light beings that are here working, we volunteered to come. And I was like, really? Third dimension? Are you serious? So the people that I had made the contract with were the Ascended Masters and Metatron and the Archangels, and that whole lineage of light. And I literally said I would come here for this, and I accepted it graciously and lovingly. So Laura was talking about 2010, that was like this flick that happened. And what happened was my mother chose 2010 to leave. And when she chose 2010 to leave, it awakened me. And all this stuff started to happen. And it was on the coast of Oregon in Lincoln City. So, I mean, at that point, I was just kind of not aware of everything until about a year after her death. I could not get rid of the grief. I was so heavy with grief and sadness. And I was called to a woman's program, and I went, and there was a young woman there, and she said, you know, I knew you were coming. I have something for you. Will you come to my home? And so I went to Arvada, and she asked me to work on her husband with some inner child stuff. So I did that. And so she said to me, she said, I have a gift for you. And she said, they told me you were coming. They also told me that I would know who you are and I would recognize you right away. And she said, I did. And she said, and so she, at that point, downloaded this whole process on how to clear karmic agreements, how to clear your path energetically, how to clear your codes, how to open your heart and connect to your path. And I was like totally blown away, because I had worked with people forever and had suffered with healing crises and all this stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not about the healing crisis, okay? Headaches and stomach aches and vomiting and the other part is not okay with me. So I was all about this because Michael the Archangel actually said, you do not have to have karma anymore. You do not. You're not going to need it. You can't transit with it. You're not going to go into those higher dimensions with it. It's actually in your way. And so the agreement to really have it was disintegrated in 2013 in Tibet. And they burnt the Book of Karma. And I was like, yes, this is a sign. So I proceeded with everything that she gave me. I learned everything that Michael gave me. I learned how to do it inside, outside. I could do it in my sleep. I could do it in the elevator. I could do it driving down the road when somebody flipped me off. I could clear it. And I was so excited about this. And they said, well, you have to write a workbook about it because people have to be able to do it themselves. And I said, okay. So I wrote this little workbook, and I have proceeded step by step ever since then to get this out and help people. And I have two things that I want to help you with today if you're in alignment with it, because Laura really had talked about darkness. And this particular year, Spirit threw me into shaman school because I'm up there. I'm like with all this other galactic stuff, and I really didn't know a lot about the earth stuff. I didn't know about the smoky dark stuff. I just was not aware of it. And until I went into training with Garrett Duncan in the other room, I really didn't understand what a psychic attack was. And so it taught me so much. I mean, I got to get involved in that and get slapped around. I got whiplash from it. I sprained my finger. I got attacked by other people. And I was like, to you. And so then I realized that a lot of other people were going through this. Not only me, but whole humanity was experiencing this. And so Laura actually explained the lineage of this and how the contracts were laid down, and when the veil went down on the outside of our galaxy, and then we had agreements to when free will allowed all this other stuff to come in, that's when all the manipulation came in, because this is the zone. This is the zone where you have free will to choose exactly what you want to do. And so they totally had their way with us. They had their way with us genetically. They had their way with us physically. They had our planet trapped. So I want to help you with this. So I have a few things that I want to share with you. I want to share with you the galactic signature for this year. I'm very connected to the Mayan calendar. And to I was born on July 25th, 1946. And so that's a day at a time in the Mayan calendar. And so July 24th is New Year's Eve. July 25th is a day at a time. It's a day at a time to play. It's a day at a time to do art. It's a day at a time to be blissful, to meditate, to go to sweats, to do whatever ever calls you. So the 6th of July is the new year. So this year, I live in this really small town called Empire, Colorado, and there's like, I don't know, 150, 200 people. It's just a little, if you blink, you'll miss it on the way to Winter Park. So I can access national forests within 5 minutes. I can go north, south, east, or west, and it's a valley. It is literally a star valley. It is sacred to the Ute, and lots of stuff had happened there. So I have this little mound that I climb up on. So July 25th, on my birthday, I went up to my mound to do prayers, and I've been working with the Sasquatch, and I called in the angels, I called in all the teachers, masters, and guides for that day. I called in the Mayan Council, I called in the Galactic Federation. A lot of Sasquatch came for this, and lo and behold, when I took the photograph after I had finished, was a portal from the sun all the way down into that field. And I went, thank you guys, thank you so much, because I realized that the access of that energy was tangible. I had a picture of it, you could see it. And I think it helps us to see it, feel it, hold it, experience it, because we are these emotional beings that have this capacity to do that. So this year it's really, really an amazing year. And last night, I'm trying to think, it wasn't Patricia Forbes. It was the woman that works with the Magdalene energy. She was saying that, and I just really resonated with this, because she said we're kind of, we've kind of accessed in to be able to feel that age of Aquarius, and we're a little bit coming down on the downside of it. But the thing is, coming down on the downside of it, there's a lot of chaos going on as these frequencies morph and shift. So, and I'm going to explain our energetic part in it, and how important it is to keep us clear. And that's where this little program comes in from Michael the Archangel. So the year is a blue spectral storm. Blue spectral storm. And so the code for that, the signature is, I dissolve in order to catalyze. Releasing energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the spectral tone of liberation. I am guided by my own power double. Oh my God, hang on to your hats. I mean, anything that you go to the double power is, you're talking about some rock and roll stuff, okay? So between July 26th until next July 24th, we are under this frequency. And so what does that mean? How does that look? What does that mean? This cycle brings the forces of pure transformation. And it calls us to let go and surrender on all levels. The vibration of spectral is here to liberate us into new realms, the new realms of possibility, by urging us to allow the energy to travel as it needs to go. It means to embrace the chaos, to release the rigidity, the control, and the fixations, to dissolve old structures and routines, to shed limitations, fears, identities from the past. This is the time to welcome the new freedom and celebrate the emergence of a greater full spectrum wholeness. It calls us to awaken the thunder beings. So here we are. We have our little spacesuit here. Inside is our soul. And all this stuff is happening. And you have karmic agreements with your parents. You have karmic agreements with a neighbor that threw dog shit over your fence. You have you have karmic agreements that are galactic. Laura was talking about these wars out there. I have seen them. I know. Ask Grant, okay? Because he had a whole lineage of this galactic stuff that was weighing heavy on him. And then you have all the manipulation from all of the other beings. You have all of the ETs that have their agenda that Laura was talking about. So our job is light beings and light workers. And because if you're all here, you're supposed to be here. If you're all here, you were called. If you're all here, you signed up just like me. Okay? And I'm sorry, but there's no need to hold the space and hold the light. So when I got involved in the whole shaman thing, then I realized how the dark worked. And so I was able to understand that. And I was able to learn how to sever that relationship and how it backslides through people, places, things, inanimate object, events. I mean, it's amazing how insidious and how hard they work on getting you. So I'm here to say I survived and I understand and I came out. I was able through divine guidance to come up with a plan to sever all that out. And I'm really happy to share that with you guys today because I don't own any of this. This belongs to Source. So I have to tell you this story because it happened again today out on the porch. So I'm like, okay, I get it. So and this story is connected to everything that's happening. So it was I think it was Friday or Saturday. I walk out on my front porch and there's this baby hummingbird sitting there. And there's this male bird who's like doing this infinity sign in front of her. I love you. And this is a baby. And so I'm like Chester the molester, I'm thinking this guy. And so he jumped on top of her. And so I literally went out there and when I took 2 steps out, then he flew off and she took off around the corner of the house. Well, unbeknownst to me, she didn't get very far and landed at the foot of my daughter. and the dog got her. And so then she yelled, drop it. And being the good guy he is, he dropped it. But he hurt her. And I got her, and I have never, ever heard a chewing out from a hummingbird like that. I'm telling you, that was amazing. So I took her in the house. I hydrated her. I knew how to get them out of shock and stuff. In California, I worked with birds of prey and a lot of owls and red-tailed hawks, one eagle. And so my expertise is big flesh-eating birds, not a hummingbird. So I just looked at this little girl and I was like, oh my gosh, honey. So I made a formula to hydrate her, and I put her in a clear spinach box, and she had a perch. And I was trying to do damage control and see what it looked like. And she just was so sweet. Every time that precious little soul looked at me, I felt that in my heart. And so I knew that this was not an accident. This was something that I was supposed to pay attention to. So I kept her going, the whole getting the bug thing, because they have the ability to eat bugs in flight. And so I was out there, you know, I only ever got 2 aphids down her, which is not enough for a wounded, injured, it's not enough protein. So, and I knew that, and she was young because she still had her young feathers. So finally by Monday, after making a plethora of phone calls all over the country, I found a woman in Lyons, Colorado that took care of native birds. And so I met her. So I named her Blossom. I took some photographs. I posted them on Facebook, and I took her and I told the woman, I said, you know, I don't know what it is about this young bird, but there's something. And she put her in this really cool netted little carrying thing. It was really cool how she transported her. And then she looked at her and she said, oh my God, she's so sweet. She goes, I deal with hundreds of birds. And she said, I see what you see. So she takes her. So that night I had a dream. She was in my face. And I was like, whoa. Next day, I go to acupuncture, and there she is, illuminated in my third eye. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so just love and lots of love and compassion. So I got into the research of it, and I started to understand the medicine of this little gift and what she was bringing me. And so it was the discernment of joy, if there wasn't enough joy to use that. But the most important thing was that infinity sign. Because about 2 months ago, maybe 3 now, I was with Barbara Reynolds and Mark, and we had a workshop going to clear karmic agreements and then do activations, activate codes. And so I did the karmic part, and they did the code part. And so I was there, and all of a sudden, this tremendous being is hanging over my head. And he says to me, it's in the eights, it's in the eights. And I said, what's in the eights? What are you talking about? He goes, it's in the infinity. It's in the infinity. He goes, remember this. And so he showed me this code, how to unlock things, and it still added up to 8. It was so amazing. So when this hummingbird came and that little dude did that thing on the front porch over that little girl, I was like, this is a bigger picture. This is more about the infinity. This is about what I'm going to help you guys tonight about balancing some of this stuff, and you can do it yourself. So the lady called me. She does have a broken wing. They did the figure 8 thing with a vet wrap. Her leg is not broken. She's eating all by herself on her little perch. She's getting the right amount of protein. So she has 10 to 15 days to heal that, and or they have to euthanize her. So I sent St. Francis of Assisi, I sent Pajapati from the Hindu religion, I've sent Fialia, an archangel for the animals. I sent everyone that I know. She's in my prayers every day so that she may be able to fly south for the winter. So after one of the sessions that Golden Light Eagle was here, I went out on the porch and the hummingbird just came and went zzz. And so because I wasn't going to tell the story, and then I went, okay, I'm telling the story, okay, because you guys just dive on me again and I'm paying attention. So it's really important, this infinity business. So you can use it to balance male and female, left and right brain. You can use, because if your solar plexus is not open and function, it's going to shut your heart down. So this is really important to get this going. So in all of my travels, there are these 3 questions, and you usually find them in the medicine wheel when you're on the north. And so you ask yourself, who am I? Where am I going? And how am I going to get there? And that's why I'm here today. Because who you are is spirit, having a physical experience in a very cosmic time. Where are you going? You're going to enlightenment. You're going to 5th, 6th, and onto those higher dimensions. How are you going to get there? You're going to get there by offloading your system. Now, normally when you're in the north, in the medicine wheel, it's pretty barren and you're asking yourself those questions and your life kind of sucks because there's like nothing there except perhaps white buffalo calf woman. So you're born in the east at 1 and then you travel around this great reel. So by the time you're 4 years old, you're up here in the north reassessing your life. And that's why 4-year-olds have such a hard time. So these questions are what we're going to work on. So you have inside of you this energetic system. You have these emotional bodies. You have the physical body, and Laura talked about this. You have your emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental bodies. Okay, all of those carry codes. Your cells, everything inside of you is coded with now and what happened to you generations ago. And now they're asking to clear the galactic stuff because it's so in our face right now. All of this stuff with Orion and the whole, the belt, that planet, that big, huge planet that blew up and then created the asteroid belt. And our moon was from that, and all this business on the dark side of the moon that is from the forces that are manipulative and are not for the good of the whole. They're self-serving. So for us to transit through this is service to others through love. If you do service to self, it'll take you a little bit longer. I think they said 95%. So service to others is 51%. So I signed up for service for others because I could get there quicker with more punch. So what I want to do right now is I'm going to walk you through what I'm going to do. And there's 2 things that I want to help you with. Number 1, I want to teach you how to activate those infinity signs and how to balance the solar plexus with the heart so your heart will stay open, how to balance male and female, and then the left and right side of your brain, which is really important because we are becoming open portals and all of this stuff up here has to be balanced and brought into harmony. The next thing I want to help you with is we are going to clear any agreements for any darkness to access you anywhere, anytime. And so I know that a lot of people have had some issues with this. And so it's a very simple process. It doesn't really impact you. Nobody gets injured from any of these things that I'm going to do. These are all light and loving and with your permission. So anything that you don't want to get involved in, you just don't have to. So it's very easy. So if you could just get into a comfortable place. And get your feet on the ground. Awesome. So I'm going to call in the Christ portal. I'm going to also call in the galactic portal. So the Christ portal is 132033. So we activate that, bring it in, inhale. Okay, cool. Now right on top of that comes the galactic portal. 122233. Okay, activate. All right, install. Michael the Archangel, I ask that a blue cloak of protection come around all of us and that we are in a space of love and light. Okay. So if you just close your eyes just for a moment, feel your feet on the ground. And we're just going to kind of step onto this platform. And I'm going to use Barbara Reynolds. I'm going to use one of her techniques. And we're going to imagine this tube of light around us, and we're going to spin it counterclockwise. Just spin it counterclockwise, and you will feel a lot of stuff coming off. That counterclockwise movement is release. And so you just spin that around, just spin that around, spin that around. There you go. Inhale, take a deep breath. All right. In front of you, from your throat, around your heart, to your solar plexus, we're going to activate an infinity sign. So activate now, and so it goes up and down, right? Top to bottom, from heart to solar plexus to heart. Activate that light. Just get that swimming around. If you need your hand to do it, however you feel comfortable. Can't do it wrong. There you go. Remember the hummingbird. All right. All right. Okay, so now we're going to balance male and female. We're going to cross that, and we're going to go left to right, right to left. So balancing male and female, which is really important right now. So balancing left to right, right to left, balancing this infinity sign. So up and down, heart to solar plexus, left to right, male and female. There you go. Now, up here in the brain, we're going to balance these hemispheres left and right. Because some of us have more logic, some of us have more right brain spatial art. It would help if the logic could help the right side and the right side could help the left. So we're going to put this infinity sign and we're just going to go back and forth just like this, balancing left and right, balancing. I'm going to take all this and ground this. Right? Awesome. All right, now that you're in this space, I'm going to call in all your teams, all the angelic force, and we are going to set the stage for disconnection of manipulation from forces that are distorting your life. And that's really how I look at it. I look at that as a distortion of the light. And actually, that's how they came in, because they were light, and then they chose to distort it. So this is what we're going to do. With your imagination, I want you to visualize out there is just a field of distortions. And so what we're going to say is, this field of distortions and everything that surrounds it, all the people, places, or things that is accessing you, all of how it uses you is it will go and get you through other people, situations, things. So what we're going to do is sever that contract. So this contract or agreement that the darkness has used other people to get you, other situations, other places, inanimate objects, buildings, whatever it can find to get in there and travel to mess with your light. So we are saying that this contract or this agreement, we're sending it back to them. It no longer has any control over you. It no longer has any control over your space, your body, your light bodies, your auric field, your chakras. It no longer has any control over accessing you through other mediums, whether they be alive, inanimate, or a place. That this is severed, this contract is done, is brought up to date, paid in full, and dissolved. And this is for past, present, future, transition, parallel lives, all layers and levels. Everything that God sees, clear this. Up and down the soul group. All ancestral codes and DNA codes that are attached to this, brought up to date, paid in full, and dissolved. You are done. This is for past, present, future, transition, parallel lives, all layers and levels. No healing crisis, backfill with love. As this leaves, just backfill with love. No healing crisis. No healing crisis. It is your divine right to be here. It is your divine right to not be messed with. It is your divine right to know how to do it yourself. So anytime, because their MO is, as long as they kind of sort of tell you, then they can come in and they can mess with you. So the name of the game is you just have to be aware. And keeping your karmic agreements cleared, keeping your energetic systems cleared, learning to do this yourself. That's why I wrote the handbook. I wrote this handbook with a bunch of rabbits and stuff. It's very funny. But this is your empowerment. There are many, many modalities to help you transit through stuff. This is the only one that I found that gets all layers, levels, dimensions. It gets the galactic stuff. It gets everything that you would not even think of. So that's the part that is so important for you, because for you to be a sovereign soul, you have to be able to do this. You have to have your field clear so that you can access the new codes coming in, and that you will be able to access the higher dimensions because the codes have been installed and activated. And that's the name of the game. How are we doing with time, Trace? So I wanna talk to you right now if you have questions. I really want to know if you have questions about this. In the workshop, what I'm going to do is do group clearings, and you get worksheets and you write your stuff down, but we get the stuff in the Akashic records. And I remember somebody asked me, I think it was Michael. He'll ask me, he goes, well, what does it look like? And so I'm so out there sometimes, and so traveling and doing all this stuff, I forget that there are some people that haven't been there and they don't really actually know the physical location of the Akashic records, or even what it looks like. So the Akashic records is a place that has many, many divisions and places where your stuff is stored. Okay, your galactic stuff is there, your old business is there. And one of the things that I do is I send your team out to go pull the file that is the old business, because you don't have to have it anymore. So your galactic history, your soul history, everything is in there. Everything that you need to know about you and your soul is there. So you just have to learn to focus your mind and go there with the presence that that's what you're going to do. So in this workshop, so what I do is I send your team to go get the old business. Now, the old business is really interesting stuff because I asked them to come and I asked them to bring it out. I asked them to clean, sanitize, and purify the pieces. And then I also tell them to tell me when it's done so that I can integrate it back inside of you. The other thing we will cover is inner children, and I can't do the inner child work until they come back from the Akashic records, and that's done. So in the meantime, what we do is we clear all the family stuff and the galactic stuff and everything that's in your way, all your triggers, all that stuff goes bye-bye. So the next thing I want to, my dear friend Tracy reminded me, I want to ask you if any of you feel that you still are kind of blocked, that the veil is still kind of pulled down. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, awesome. Okay, we're going to do this little exercise. And this came down from the Christ consciousness, which is kind of cool because we got a portal going right now. So the Christ said, full lineage of light said, you do not have to have the veil anymore. And it's kind of funny what they called it because they called it the sleeper cell. And I was like, really? Is that what you guys call it? It's not the veil. No, it is the sleeper cell. And so this is where it is. It's behind the frontal lobe, but it is in front of the prefrontal lobe. And you can actually feel that thing jockeying around when we do this, but you have to clear the agreement and I'll walk you through it. Are you interested? Is anybody? Okay. Okay. It's kind of fun. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then we're going to do it because I don't want you guys to be surprised because you have to get involved in this. So I'm going to ask you through visualization to go down and bring that energy up through the core of the mother. Go down there and grab that from that octahedron and bring it up through the earth, okay? And you bring it up through your feet. You bring it up through your legs. You bring it up through your base chakra, your sacred zone, second, solar plexus. And then right here, I'm going to have you bring your hands up around your heart, just like this, and you're going to hold and feel that energy, but you got to hold it like this. And then I'm going to have you come up here and hold right there, and I'm going to ask you to pay attention to your forehead. Okay? And then you just have to repeat after me. Sometimes the reason it doesn't work is because your subconscious goes, yes, you're right. Okay? So the most we've ever done it is 3 times, so don't worry about it. Eventually, it'll leave. Okay, so inhale, take a deep breath. Go down into the earth, into Gaia. Go grab that energy and pull that up. Come on, pull it up. Pull it up through your feet. Pull it up. Go, good job. Pull it up, knees, sacred zone. Awesome. You guys are awesome. Second, third. All right, so up around your heart, I want you to hold the space where that energy just came up. All right, good. If you doubt that you feel it, move your hands in and out because you can actually feel the border of where it is. Okay. Bring your hands up and place them on either side of your ears. There you go. All right, pay attention to your forehead. Just kind of pay attention to what is in there. If you feel anything, any pressure, just be conscious of your head right now. All right, I want you to repeat after me, and I do not want you to be wimpy. This has to be done with intention. All right, here we go. Repeat after me. This contract or this agreement to have the sleeper cell in my head, to have the veil pulled down, is canceled. No longer has any power over me. inhale and lift your hands up and hand it back. Hand it back to creation, hand it back to the Christ consciousness. Good job. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, you got any business going on up in here? Is there any pressure? Does anybody feel anything? Oh, good. Awesome. Yeah, because this should be like, yeah. So no pressure, no pain. You're okay. Right, so you knew it was there. Awesome. Okay. So is anybody? Oh my God, you guys are amazing. You are amazing. How about this little lady here? Did it leave? Okay, so we're going to do it again, and we're going to help our sister, because the energy of you doing it again, even though it's released, is going to help her. Okay? All right, so here we go. Take a deep breath, pull that energy up, bring your hands up around your heart. All right, up around the ears. Okay, now I want you to say with conviction, and I want you to focus on her, because we're going to do this like group therapy. Okay? Everybody's going to help. All right? Okay, so repeat after me. This contract and this agreement have the sleeper cell in my head, have the veil pulled down, is canceled, no longer has any control over me. I'm handing it back to God and lift it up. Inhale and lift it up with intention. Okay, did it leave? Did it? Okay, so does anybody, so say, okay, awesome. Okay, so my next question, Laura talked about, how much time we got? Okay, so the next thing that Laura talked about, which is so very important, is the programming and the implants and that monkey business. So when I started working with people with the sleeper cells, the sleeper cell would go and then there'd be all this other stuff. So we're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it if there's any programming, any implants, anything that has been placed in you against your will, or if they told you you were not aware of it. Because they have to let you know that they're doing it. That's how they get away with it. But they're so sneaky at it, we don't get to actually be conscious of it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to sit there and you're going to pull this energy up again. So close your eyes, pull that energy up. Awesome. And you can, there you go. Okay. And you can actually, if you want to go back to the heart and bring this up, I mean, that space of doing that is so powerful. Okay, so I'm really going to ask that Metatron come in, and we're going to need some angelic forces on this and some white light. So this contract or this agreement, say it. To have anything foreign in my body. Any programming. Any alien implants. Any devices that are in my muscles, my joints, my brain, my tissue, anywhere in my bones. Anything that is foreign. The contract to have this is canceled. Get out. So I'm just going to run a contract, okay? So this contract for you guys have any of this inside of you is brought up to date, paid in full, and dissolved. and released, no longer has any control. This is for past, present, future, transition, parallel lives, all layers and levels, everything that God sees. Everything that God sees. Backfill with love, no healing crisis. No healing crisis. All right, just scan your body, lift your hands up, and release it. So I just need to know if anybody's got any pain anywhere, any pressure, any weirdness. Weirdness. Okay. No? Yes. Okay. Where? Okay, so can you come here so I can? So this is a very normal place that they stick things in the occipital. I mean, they just are so amazing about this. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to run this one more time and we're going to help her. But this time I'm going to use that infinity sign to unlock this. So I want everybody to focus because your energy is going to help our sister. Okay? All right, so here we go. Energy up in your bodies. Focusing. All right, this, and you don't have to repeat after me. I'm just going to run the contract. So this contract or this agreement that Star has to have this in her body no longer exists. This contract for whatever this was that invaded her body without her knowing, any alien chips, any programming, anything that's anywhere in this energy system, in her field of energy, in her galactic bodies, in her multidimensional bodies, anything that is in there against her will, knowing or unknowing, is brought up to date and canceled. It no longer has any power over her, and we are severing the connection. This contract or this agreement to have this inside of her is brought up to date, paid in full, and dissolved. This is for past, present, future, transition, parallel lives, all layers and levels, everything that God sees. Clear this up and down the soul group for her. Backfill with love. No healing crisis. No healing crisis. Inhale and lift it out. Lift it out, girl. Okay, here. Thanks. Yeah, see, sometimes you got to bring in the big guns because sometimes it is so insidious. The more, this is a light worker. So the more light that you carry the ball, the harder the punch. That's the name of the game. So that's why it's so important to mock up your light, mock up your field, pay attention, help yourself clear, go to the people, multi-level, then find other people, get my workbook, it'll teach you how to do it. So it's a very simple process. Bring it up to date, mark it paid in full, past, present, future, parallel lives. I mean, they couldn't have made it more simple. I was so blown away. And then the no healing crisis, oh my God, I'm so about that, okay? So I want to thank everybody. You have a question? Well, yeah, but maybe you aren't supposed to. Maybe you are okay just like you are. Yeah, so that's fine. There are no hard cast rules. Because remember, I told you if you were not comfortable. You could come in with absolutely 100% no karmic agreements, that you came in sovereign already, and I honor that. And so the very thing that you are conscious of that and you brought that to the table is awesome. So yeah, see, so it's all good. It's all good. So that's the blessed part of this is you have to be woo-way-woo about it. You have to be able to be accepting, loving, not pushy. That's why it's so important that you learn to do this yourself because it's so empowering. It puts you sovereign. So I want to thank everybody. I did, oh, Tracy's so awesome. Okay, this is it, guys. This is the how to do it. It's very simple. You have to remember to write the contract process out, Michael said, until you have it memorized. You got to be able to do it like I can do it, driving down the freeway. So it's in here. You can use it for yourself, for your family. It does not have the Akashic records or the inner child work, but it has everything to keep you clear, everything. And believe me, it's much better. I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for learning this process, because you cannot afford to have triggers. You can't afford to have the inner child business coming through. You can't afford to have the darkness messing with you. You don't have time for it. All this is happening very quickly. So just remember the year we're in, blue spectral storm. Just remember the storm, okay? And this will help you get through it if you choose to do it. You also get a golden ticket. I mean, where can you get that, right? Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. I want to thank all the archangels. I thank the medicine people. I want to thank everyone who was here that bear witness to this. Thank you so much. Thanks, Grant.
Well, thank you, Claudia. That was fantastic. So wonderful to have the process was held to share. How's it feel to see clear everything forever? So specifically, Claudia's having a workshop tomorrow at 4. And I wanted to speak on behalf of Carol, who's the little lady that's here, who has a little booth out here. She said that these beautiful pictures went home. She got these beautiful pictures, and they're for donation, and it goes to Chief Old Eagle and the expenses of the conference. And so it's donation and they're beautiful pictures. And so please take a look at them. I've already been looking at them. Hope you don't get the one I'm looking at. Over there. She wanted to let y'all know the beautiful, and she made them all. And so please go and get some of those pictures. So here in just a few minutes, we're going to get Dr. Dream is getting ready for our big activation. We're very excited about it. How many bowls do we have over here?
111.
111 bowls. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll be starting that in just a few minutes. So don't miss this fantastic group activation for us to send our electric universal energy throughout this galaxy and beyond. Is that right?
That works.
Okay.
This galaxy is beyond. I don't ever die hard. I'm the freaking Energizer Bunny.
I know, right? Where do these batteries come from?
Where do you get those at?
I have a daughter who keeps bringing me more coffee.
There you go. That's what it is. All the messages.
Has anybody ever experienced the Dr. Dream meditation? Anyone in the crowd? Anyone who's listening to me talk? Well, the person over here. It's amazing. This will be my third full activation in a month. Yeah. I know. We, Dr. Dream's been in Colorado, so we've had the honor to spend a lot of time with them. We've done rituals, we've done activations. He held a couple at my business into the Mystic Healing Arts in downtown Boulder. And then we just did one on Lookout Mountain on Wednesday before we came up here. So we kicked off our Star Knowledge experience with Dr. Dream at a private session at a house, beautiful house on Lookout Mountain. Like 8 minutes from where we live. Yeah. I mean, GPS still took me somewhere. So I highly recommend staying for this. 111 bowls, goes through each chakra. The first class or event that I did, when I first got there, I had some things that happened and it upset me. I felt like I was really hanging on to it. By the time he got to the heart chakra, I was like, oh, everything's great. So, it's definitely really magical. So get ready, folks.
No, okay. So, yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry. E.
It is.
And then E. And then F.
Yeah.
So this is the D also. So this is C, E, D.
Yeah, because all that, it was like here.
And then E, right, these two are. You're starting here. This is the first one.
And in my life,
Yeah, you go up to everybody. You don't go up to everybody, but when you 8 of us, you're and it's a go like if you start to be a person, but now we're back doubling up. It's okay. We're launching exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know. We had it so easy. Yeah, why are the doors closed? So,
I was just thought, you know, this thing's
so could you prop those doors open just so people don't think that
you
we're
ready to
closed?
talk about business? You know, I.
Thank you, Darren.
What we do.
So,
The channel. Yeah.
Because for the first decades of it's a live show.
Yeah.
It's like now we're not going to play this square. And it's the exact same with class. Tonight, it's a real Western academic language. it's to take you into that frequency. All the time. And then there's
This life, this life.
So both here today at the same time, we should be in that. Yeah, I haven't been trained, and I don't do anything else. It's experience. So it's just.
A lot of people don't recognize the opportunity to
Yeah, go ahead.
taste that. And then you trust that.
Yeah.
It will soften.
It was
Thank you.
fine. Sure. You don't need. Yeah, just
No.
It's funny, he works in
Yeah.
Yeah, I just knew it. And I was like, I was just
I had a group. So we did our own.
Oh, really?
Oh, we actually did.
And it was really on. And I don't very much I have like
So we were right up into the heck. You were at.
But you gotta check this out. Sorry.
All right, everyone, we're going to get started in just a few minutes. If you want to have a seat. So,
You ready?
do we need to
Oh, no, I dropped the obelisk.
Oh, that's okay. I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It helps me.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Dr. Green?
Do we know how late? She's got a whole.
I thought she was.
Right.
She should be in Houston.
I thought she was 2 hours.
No, not. No, I asked her, she said it was.
Yeah, no, it was set up, so there was nothing conflicting.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It said just an hour. She's probably just talking. Okay, well, please let me know when you're ready, sir, doctor.
We'll answer that, right?
Hopefully you got something good there. Thanks. You're welcome.
How are you ladies doing? Is everybody feeling activated?
Be prepared to be galacticated. All right, well, prepared to have you're welcome. So we're encouraging people to sit every other row because we will be going around with bowls to each person, so we need room. So if the chairs were scooted closer to a row, that was on purpose. So just fill in on the other ones, then we'll play it by ear, please. Please don't move the chairs. Don't move the chairs. This is your mother's baby. Well, you just did. Never say never. So Dr. Dream is going to do his activation. There are 111 bowls. He is an entrepreneur, humanitarian, holistic healing practitioner, and international speaker. Dr. Dream has over 20 years experience guiding, mentoring, and empowering students, organizations, and corporations in building, reaching, and sustaining their full potential on all levels. Representing at total solar eclipse festivals and Burning Man, ceremonies at Machu Picchu, Angkor Wat, and Pyramid of the Sun at thank you. To his weekly radio broadcast, Dr. Dream has assisted the journeys of thousands of incredible beings on their path of transformation. He will be teaching, so we're doing this. You have another workshop, don't you? Is this?
I have a workshop tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock, thank you. I can't see it. So his workshop is going to be on bringing grace and ease to this human experience. Dr. Dream brings his perspective on how to live at the highest level with grace and ease. Learn how life is a frequency game. What are the energies that are being called forth right now? Join Dr. Dream for this energetic and interactive workshop. I've had the privilege of hanging out with Dr. Dream a lot over the past month. This will be my third galactivation in about 31 days. So yeah, lots of fun. You all are in for a real treat. Please make sure to keep your feet back just a little bit, like sit comfortably, but we will be walking through with bowls, and it just makes life easier so we don't trip. All right, so we're going to give a big round of applause for Dr. Dream.
Hi, everyone. Good answer. I grounding myself in this moment. I'm beyond excited to be here and to bring this offering of 111 Tibetan healing bowls and these amazing essential oils. I love how many people are in this room because I went out of my way to make sure that this was not slotted in as a workshop, because I wanted everyone to have the opportunity to be here, and look at you, it worked. And so I'm grateful to you. And we've got 11 angels. It's Dr. Dream and his band of angels, and we have 11 angels assisting us this evening. And I'll thank you all at the end, but I want to thank you all right now also for stepping up and playing this role to be in service for our Star Knowledge family. Thank you all, angels. And just to get things started, I'd like to invite one of our angels tonight, Michelle Anderson. And Michelle's locked up a really special place in my heart. We did a experience with 333 bowls a few months ago. Time, who knows? A few months ago, 2 months ago. June 5th, right. For 2,500 people in Joshua Tree. And this was huge for me. I had done up to 400 people, and we'd never done anything bigger than that. And I was a little bit of a basket case that night. And I had chosen Michelle Anderson to be the angel right next to me. And her energy and what she brings to the collective and to all of our experiences is just at the highest level, and she's all heart, and she is divine on all levels, and I so love you and appreciate your support. And so she's going to lead us in a intergalactic peace meditation just before we get started on the bowls. And so what we're really going to be doing right now is harnessing all these energies and really leveraging it for the rest of the experience. And so, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm going to need to be able to read.
And when we do this peace meditation, we become intergalactic peace ambassadors. And we join together through this process. I really believe we're birthing new harmonic and they're activated here through each one of us, joining our hearts. So let's join together in a unified field of pure love, right here at the start of the gathering. For the next few minutes, let's step out of time and merge with all that is in the sea of bliss. And let's become radiant love flowing through all life in every dimension. We'll start by breathing deeply, feeling all thoughts and emotions simply fading away. You are floating in the sea of bliss. No worries, no stress, no story, no past, no future. Only this present moment, suspended in a state of calm. Peace enfolds you. Love embraces you. You are one with all life. You taste the purity of love surrounding you. You feel divinity living and breathing for you, with you, and as you. Continue breathing deeply as you feel yourself in a state of calm and relaxation. Let yourself feel truly at peace. Become peace, and now you are peace. And you are a peaceful, sentient being living in human form. Let a sense of oneness take place in your heart. Feel your heart expanding. Visualize and feel yourself becoming the vibration of radiant love and gratitude, joy and harmony. Know that you are loved, and you are loved. Let yourself feel this truth. Become a beacon of light and feel the warmth you are emitting. Allow your conscious awareness to activate the inner knowing and remembrance of your eternal self. That place within you that holds the original keys and codes to peace on earth, to radiant love flowing into and out of every living cell on our planet, and to the infinite supply of abundance for all. Call back all aspects of your divine self, knowing that you are perfect, whole, and complete as you share your wholeness with all life. Allow yourself to expand yourself out into this room, totally present to what you are feeling. Feel your consciousness in your entire body and being. Feel this energy pulsating with aliveness, light, and radiant love. Now expand this energy out so that you totally feel it. Feel it illuminating all of Estes Park and the surrounding cities. Feel it traveling to all parts of Colorado in all of the United States, sharing this pure, luminous love with all people and with all the animals, the crawlers, the two-leggeds, four-leggeds, flyers and swimmers, with the dolphins and the whales, with the plants, the trees, and the flowers, with the oceans, rivers, lakes, and streams, with the elementals, and with your spirit guides, with all places and life forms on Mother Earth, and of course, with universal consciousness. Now let it accelerate. The more you share it, the faster it vibrates, and the more oneness and connection you feel. Expand it out to fill the entire planet. Sending your love around to the other side of the world as a rainbow beam of light, and share it with all beings there. Feel that connection and merging of oneness. Now expand it out into our solar system and feel that. Be totally present to what you're feeling, sensing, and seeing. Now expand it out to our galaxy, feeling a huge, pulsating, golden ball of light that is the center of our Milky Way galaxy. Expand your consciousness out to fill the entire universe and to all areas you haven't even thought of before, to other dimensions and realms, waves of pure rainbow beams of light flowing endlessly in a circle of radiant love, infinitely connecting us with all that is and anchoring this frequency of love for all. Feel the vastness of our universe and notice how this makes your body feel. Feel the warmth in your heart and a tingling sensation as you share your unique soul signature and vibration, merging with all life. Enjoy this experience, connect with it, and breathe deeply into the silence for just a moment. Allowing the feeling of this expanded awareness to fully penetrate and infuse our oneness into the creation of liquid love. Now it's time to return. So bring yourself back into the galaxy, back to the solar system. You can still retain that feeling and connection on a larger perspective, even as you return. Come back to here. The energy is very strongly concentrated as it returns. All this radiant energy pouring down as a golden ball of light, going straight into the heart of our Mother Earth, sending her our gratitude and our love. Feel the energy of co-creation with all those who join together, right here in this sacred space, with Mother Earth, with the cosmos, and with the universe. Let it flow and feel yourself pulsating in peace, light, love, and joy. Return to your awakened consciousness, and let's get ready to go back to gate with the 111 Tibetan bulls and Dr. Dream and his gift of angels. Let's continue sending this radiant love out to all life in every connection.
I want to just take a moment to thank all of you as participants at this year's Knowledge Conference. This is a very special year for all of us. I want to thank Chief for all your hard work in pulling this together, and Jennifer and all the other helpers for really making this possible at the highest level for all of us. It's quite a service that you all do, and well worth the acknowledgement. 5 years of speaking at Star Knowledge events and at everyone at this place in my talks. I always did a personal acknowledgement, and I don't want to skip that this year. And so for everything that you always meant to me, Laura Eisenhower. I want to thank you. And I know it's been a tough couple of years for us with everything. And just want you to know how amazing I know you are, and how much I love you, and I'll always love you wherever our paths go. And so, perfect to move into the root chakra and get some grounding right now. If you thought you were going to be here tonight and walk into this and it was going to be 111 bowls taking you on your own personal journey out the crown chakra and out into the multiverse for your psychedelic experience, that's not quite what's going to happen tonight. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. This journey tonight is all about the inner journey. And it's a chakra experience and energizing and integration. And I'm going to go out of my way to try and trigger you with each of your chakras. And I'm not going to ask you to share with us what's going on with you. The important thing is for you to be real with yourself and transparent with yourself, and really identify. Is this still on? Okay. Do I need it? Do we need this? I don't need it, right? Okay. I don't know.
It's okay. He has to start it lower.
All right. So we'll continue. Sorry. Energetic experience, and I'm dealing with technology. Okay. So what I'm specifically doing in this experience is I want to trigger what's going on in your root chakra. I want you to be real and identify exactly where you're at with the root chakra. I'm going to talk about the statement for each of the chakras. As an example, the statement for the root chakra is I am safe. I'm going to challenge you on that with everything that's going on and all the fear porn that's being placed before of us. Readily available for us to just take in. Are you really feeling that way? I'm going to ask you these questions, and it's not about you judging yourself. It's not about you sitting there and saying, no, actually, I'm a basket case of fear, and damn, that's just wrong of me, or whatever. It's about you acknowledging and recognizing where you're at, because that's the only way that we can fine tune. And the thousands of people that I've worked with, I have never met anyone that needed a complete overhaul. But everybody needs fine tuning. And this opportunity tonight, and it's an opportunity for you. You've already done the first part of your free will. You've shown up and you're here in the seats. Now it's for you to take advantage of this opportunity to really work this energy. But before we get into all of that, I need to share with you the story about the bowls, because we've got 111 bowls here, and this is a third of the big experience that I take around the country, which is 333 bowls. And then at any one time, I've got another 100 to 400 bowls that are looking for homes. And I want to explain to you how that happens. You might think initially I'm independently wealthy, and I'm not independently wealthy. I'm wildly abundant, which I prefer, but not independently wealthy. And let me explain to you how this works. In November of 2014, a friend of mine got a bowl on eBay, and it came to him direct from Nepal. And he was going through a lot of emotional trauma in his life. And one night he took the bowl before he was going to sleep, and he put it on his chest, and he just took the mallet, like we're going to be taking tonight, and just kept striking the bowl with it. And over the course of time that evening, he had epiphanies, he moved energy, and he basically found himself on the other side of his emotional triggers. He didn't know who to share this with, so he wrote to the man in Nepal that sent the bowl. They went back and forth in emails, and they became close, and Kumar said to him, would you like to sell these bowls in the United States? And Eric said, I don't have any money. And he said, listen, we'll send you 30 bowls. Every time you sell a bowl, you send us the money. So they sent the bowls, and Eric contacted me, and we decided to do a tour. And so we ordered 80 more bowls, and we started in Mount Shasta, and we went through Oregon. We did 12 dates. But by the time we got to the second date, which was Ashland, Oregon, the earthquake had hit Nepal. So this was last year. And we looked on the map, we couldn't get a hold of anyone. We looked on the map, and our village, the Geelong village that made our bowls, was within 30 kilometers of the epicenter of the earthquake. And we had 4 days to be with this energy and to keep ourselves from going to worst case scenario. And what a great lesson that was. Because if you don't know the truth of what's really going to happen or what's happened, and you don't know the reality, I've decided to err on the side of things are going to work out, to err on the side of what has me expanding as opposed to what has me constricting. But it was really challenging that 4 days. We heard from Kumar in Kathmandu that the Geelong village, which had 100 families, 100 homes, 30 of those families making our bowls, that all 100 homes were completely destroyed. The silver lining to this story is nobody died in the Geelong village. And I said to Eric, I said, well, we shouldn't plan on bowls anytime soon because they're going to rebuild their lives. Within 2 weeks, we were told that there were a couple hundred bowls ready for us. We did a GoFundMe campaign. We raised $1,500. It was enough to get 15 $100 tents from the Chinese border so we could get the people out of the rain. It was the rainy season. I guess other people didn't step up for the village. And this really locked up a tight bond with us, with the Geelong village. We did the rest of the tour and we placed another order for 300 bowls. Now we were starting to change the dynamic. And being Dr. Dream and dreaming the biggest dream all the time, I knew that before the bowls were, or when the bowls were arriving, a few days later, I had a big event in Southern California, or what I wanted to be a big event. And so I decided, not really thinking things into the future, that we should do a 300 bowl event because I had 300 bowls coming in. And we did the event, we sold it out, over 100 people, and it was incredible. And we were all on such a high, and I said, I'm gonna travel the country for the next 2 years minimum with 333 bowls, and I'm gonna do this experience everywhere I can go. And that night we placed an order for 1,000 kilos of bowls, 680 bowls. Well, now the dynamic completely changed. We didn't have the money for 1,000 kilos, that's $100,000 wholesale. So we sent a document that had to go first to the metals man in Mumbai, India, because for 1,000 kilos of bowls, we needed 1,000 kilos of 7 metals. We didn't have the money for it. The document, who's Dr. Dream? What's the tour of love? And what are you doing with a permanent collection of 333 bowls? And we sent this out, and the metals man in Mumbai, India said, I'll work with you. And I think he gave us 90 or 120 days terms on the metal. And then Kumar took the document to the 30 families in the Geelong village, but that was no longer enough to make these bowls. So we added another village, and the second village we added had 49,000 homes before the earthquake, and after the earthquake they had less than 47,000, and 1,700 members of that community perished in the earthquake. And so altogether, we took this document to 1,500 bowl makers. And we said, we don't have the money to pay you up front, but we're good for it, and we're going to make monthly payments to you. The agreement was to send $5,000 a month. I've been averaging sending $7,000 a month to them. I want to share some really amazing news with you that just got more amazing this morning. I went to Pagosa Springs recently and did an event, and one of the angels contacted me afterwards and said that she's part of a funding group that actually has money, not the, oh, we're waiting for the dinars to revalue and then we're all going to be wealthy. This group actually has money, and they said, we've talked about you and we've talked about what you're doing, and we want to support your people in Nepal. And I said, well, we got to come up with a plan because what we're doing is sustainable. We've created a sustainable process, but they need a medical center. They need a community center. And they said, we think we can have all this put together for you within a couple of weeks. I'm going there a week from tomorrow. They're ready to send me to Nepal to get a clear idea of exactly what we can do with the money and move this forward. I got that news this morning, and this is, it's just, it touches me so deeply that in this process, we're having people step up. Jim Graywolf has done so much for me while I've been in Colorado. Bobby Joe, I mean, the list just goes on and on. I'm beside myself by how people are stepping up. But I get that it's a reflection of what I'm doing, and I'm just in incredible appreciation. So we wanted you to walk into this room and not hear any bowls going, because these bowls carry an energy. How often can you hold a product and say that the raw materials that went into this product before it ever looked like this product are based on a heart connection, on someone's heart connection with us? And how often can you say that there's 1,500 people in Nepal right now, knowing that I'm standing here in front of you, sharing their bowls, sharing their energy? That's why I wanted you all to come in here and not hear any bowls, and to feel the energy of these bowls before you really feel the energy. There's so much going on so many levels of this, and we're busting paradigms. And the first one is you have to have money to make money. And we say that's an old paradigm, bunch of crap. And it's out the window. And so I want you to feel into the paradigms that we're not just challenging, but we're busting with this. And some of them I'll point out, and some of them you'll just feel into. But this is an important aspect of what we do, and that's why we haven't even done a bowl yet, and I've needed to share all of this information with you. So we're going to move into the root chakra. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you what the root chakra is about. I'm going to share with you what the statement is for each chakra, what it looks like when we're balanced in that chakra, what it looks like when somebody else, not us, is imbalanced in that chakra. And then also, if you're challenged with that particular chakra, what's a practical thing you can do? I mean, certainly with the root chakra, I could say, well, just get a seed bowl. But no, what can you do without spending any money, just being in your own energetic? And that's what this is all about. This is empowering you. So I'd like you to take a moment right now and set your intention for this experience. You must have an intention for being here because you're here. But I want to give you the opportunity to state in your mind exactly what your intention is for being here. And your intention is your specific desired outcome for this experience right here. So think about it up here. Allow it to travel down into your heart. And with each breath in, feel it expanding in your heart. And with each breath out, let go and release anything that's getting in the way of you taking in this energy, of you owning and expanding this intention. Working it with the breath, the intention for our highest self, for our whole self. When it gets so big in your heart space and it's so expanded that it just feels like the seams on the meat suit are going to come apart, allow it just to float off. Send it off to source. That's placing your order with source. And the same way as when we place our order in a restaurant, we don't sit there and mull it over and wonder, gee, are they really getting the salad dressing on the side and making it the way I want it? So let's not do that with what we're sending off to source. Just know that you've done it. You've sent it off. I also want to take an opportunity right now. We talked about leveraging these energies. And so energy knows no boundaries. And there's so much that we're so blessed in this room. Everyone in this room is so blessed. Whatever it is each of us are going through on an individual basis, we're blessed. Look at us. We're here to expand our knowledge and who we are, and to share that with our family here, and that energy to go beyond. So I would like us to focus for a moment on all those people in our families, in our immediate circles, in our communities, in the organizations we belong to, and all around the world that we know are struggling and are suffering right now. because we're going to leverage all this energy tonight and we're going to open up channels to all those people. And so I'm calling in my mother and my stepmother who are severely challenged with dementia. And I'm calling in my brother who's severely challenged with depression. And I want you to now call in some people and really feel this and open up those channels. And we acknowledge and call in all the 1,500 bowl makers and the metals man in Mumbai, India, and all those people that have been challenged with natural disasters and everything that's going on in this world, and all those people that are struggling just to have a hold on this reality, just to have it make sense. Let's open up energetic channels and allow this energy tonight to touch them and to help them and to help this planet. Perfect time to move into the root chakra. It's all about grounding, stability, physical needs, security, survival, manifestation in the material world. Any triggers there? Anyone challenged with any of those aspects of the root chakra? The statement is, I am safe. I mentioned all the fear porn. I watch all this stuff about the elections. Everything is about fear. I don't own any of it. I let it go by, but I like to know what's going on out there. Where are you with it? The statement is, I am safe. Can you really say, I am safe, and feel that in your root chakra? If not, identify what it is that's not having you feel safe. Let's stir it up, bring it up to the surface, because when we bring this root chakra bowl up to you, whatever doesn't resonate with that tone gets an invitation to leave. If you are ready to let it go, if you're ready to release it. This is your journey. This is your experience. This is your gift to you. Feel it and own it. When we're balanced in the root chakra, we appear grounded, healthy, safe, and patient. Okay, I don't know what's been going on with me for the last couple of weeks, but I've been severely challenged with remaining patient. And so I'm not owning that I'm impatient. I'm acknowledging and recognizing and not judging myself for the impatience that has come around me. And I'm connecting the dots with why that's happened. But it's not about judgment. And it's not about owning it, saying, this is who I am. It's more, this is what I'm experiencing. Let me see what that's pointing out to me. The first chakra practice, if you are challenged in the first chakra, sit in nature. Take your shoes off, let your feet sink into the dirt, the sand, the grass. Go out and work in the garden, do anything that connects you to the earth. If I could have my oil rollers, maybe oil rollers isn't the right name, oil anointers. And so they're going to come around and they're going to put, just one. They're going to put oil on one of your wrists. You're going to rub your wrists together gently. None of this really fast stuff. Really be present with it, and don't give in to the desire to bring it right up to your nose. Think foreplay. Take your time with it. And really what you're doing is the physical sensation of the oil between your skin. Slippery, satiny, silky. Feel it. What you're doing is you're activating the grounding blend, which is this oil. It's called balance. And you're activating that within your field. And then when you feel like you've completely activated that within your field, then bring it up to your nose and breathe in 6 times. The first 2 times just get you present to the experience, and the other 4 times send it to all over your body, and you'll feel it. So you'll notice that this oil is a combination of tree oils and roots. And so we look to where the oils come from for what the qualities are and how this medicine can help us. So what do we know about trees? They're stable. They're solid. The wind will blow, but we don't see trees laying on the ground all the time. So they're there and they're maintaining themselves. Also, the trees that grow the tallest have roots that go the deepest. As above, so below. So I came into all of this through the plant teachers and plant medicines. So I was never grounded in the beginning, and it was all just, what can I do to get out of the crown chakra and into the multiverse? And then what I found in my own experience was focusing on the grounding, my heart could open so much more, be so much more expanded. My connection to source and spirit was so much more there and present. So really feel that. The emotions addressed with this are, of course, being ungrounded, unwilling to take responsibility for self or life. Again, allow yourself to be a little triggered by this. Feeling disconnected, unstable, and scattered. Angels, if you would be so good as to find your C bowl for the root chakra. Takes us up to the second chakra, which is our sacral chakra. And the oil that we've chosen for this chakra is an oil I never paid any attention to. But it's wild orange. If I can have my oil anointers. You got a promotion. So wild orange is the oil of abundance. And this is, to me, it's an incredibly exciting oil, and juicy might be a good description. Wild orange addresses a variety of emotional issues. It inspires abundance, fosters creativity, supports a positive mood, and restores physical energy. Doesn't all that sound nice? Don't you just want this? So really feel this when the wild orange comes around. It also reconnects individuals with their inner child and brings spontaneity, fun, joy, and playfulness into our lives. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got plenty of room for some more fun, spontaneity, playfulness, and joyfulness in my life. So if you do too, set that intention as you're breathing in this wild orange. We look at the orange tree, and it teaches us the true meaning of abundance. It is, fruit trees, they just keep, I had an orange tree in Ventura and just keeps pumping out oranges. We didn't even water it. It just keeps pumping out oranges and pumping out oranges. And that's kind of, when we look at it, it lines up with new paradigm energies, okay? Because that orange tree isn't expecting anything in return. Now, old paradigm for many of us, I would say most of us, is what do I need to give to you to get what I want? Okay? And so new paradigm becomes, and the paradigm that I live in, is I have so much to share. I have so much love. I have so much additional time. I have so much energy. I have so much compassion that I'm sharing all of that without asking or expecting anything in return. And yet what comes back to me in my life, reference the wildly abundant comment earlier, absolutely blows my mind. And so wild orange also assists an individual's natural creative sense. It inspires limitless solutions for our challenges. So as if the spontaneity, fun, playfulness, and joy wasn't enough, as if inspiring abundance and restoring physical energy and everything else wasn't enough, it reminds us that there are limitless solutions to any challenges that we have. Right, this is an amazing oil. Now, the big catch on this is that it's the second least expensive doTERRA oil there is. Lemon is the least expensive, and then wild orange, the oil of abundance. Thank you, Source, for making that so abundant for us so we can tap into all of that, wild orange. All right. And this is important to go into because we're in the lower chakras now. The lower chakras are all about our physical experience. The lower chakras are where we hold most of our fears and our stresses. Do you know, but I'm going to remind you, that there is nothing to fear. There's no need to fear anything. Now, that's not saying if you have fears that they're not real, because we make everything real. But there's no need to fear anything. The emotions addressed with this: scarcity, over-seriousness, rigid, dull, workaholism, low energy, being discouraged, hoarding, and envy. Let that trigger some stuff here in the sacral chakra, which is about emotions, relationships, sexuality, self-worth, creativity, and empathy. Probably some triggers there. The statement for the sacral chakra is, I am creative. Okay, I know a lot of times the initial response is, gee, my life doesn't seem that creative. I do the same job over and over again. That's not really giving me an outlet for creativity, and I'm not an artist, so where are we at with I am creative? There's 7 billion plus of us on this planet. We're all incredibly unique, and we're all an expression of source, but that comes through us as the individual. That's the uniqueness. If that's not creativity, I don't know what is. So we're all this incredible creative expression, and we get to decide. I've decided that my creativity and my expression in this life is to be a beacon of love and to share that love everywhere I go. It works. So, I am creative is the statement. When we're balanced in the sacral chakra, we're spontaneous, we're social, we're passionate, and we're trusting. Trusting. That's an interesting one, right? Because weren't we all conditioned and programmed not to trust people? Can't trust people. You know, I mean, that's the old tape. Anyone else got that going on? See where you're getting triggered here. For me, the new paradigm is anyone that comes into my field, I trust wholeheartedly. Anyone that wants a bowl, doesn't have the money, I tell them we'll make a payment plan. You take the bowl and you send me an email and you tell me what the payment plan is. I don't tell you what the payment plan is. I also don't take notes on those arrangements, and I have no records on those arrangements. Why? Because I so totally, completely trust everyone that shows up in my field. And guess what? I need you to know I'm not getting screwed over because of that in my life. Okay? I'm not vulnerable in any sense of the word because I trust everyone. And here's the thing, I know me, and I'm incredibly trustworthy. And if I stopped trusting people that showed up in my world, who would ever trust me? We get what we put out there. So yes, maybe it's a leap of faith in the beginning of, gee, I know that like the programming was not to trust people, and they're, you know, like they're out to take something from me or do something to me or whatever your conditioning was. So the leap of faith is to say, that's a bunch of BS, belief system, that doesn't serve me. And my new belief system is, if they show up in front of me, I trust them. I want to let you know something. The people that I can't trust don't show up in front of me. Okay? That's how it works. Energetically, that's how it works. So there we go with the trusting. When we're imbalanced, when someone else is imbalanced in the sacral chakra, they lack spontaneity, rigid beliefs, sexual issues, and may be resentful. So if you were resentful earlier today or last week, it's not about judging yourself. It's about saying, where does that come from? I'm not owning that I'm resentful, but I'm acknowledging and recognizing that I'm going through that. Now that's where my fine-tuning belongs. So the second chakra practice, if you're challenged with your sacral chakra, join a community group, try a new activity, and do anything that involves nurturing yourself with water. Okay? So angels, if you will find your D bowl for the sacral chakra. Okay, there's several things that I'm going to give you tonight, and there's no charge for them, and they're all gifts. So the first thing is, you notice I've got some papers up here. It's a 17-page document all about the chakras, the oils. Some of it I'm sharing with you tonight, and some of it I don't even go into. If you send me an email, and my business cards are on the back table, send me an email, I'll send you this PDF of the 17-page document, okay? Because first of all, I want you to just let go of having to pay too much attention right now. Take in what's just naturally going in. Don't worry about the rest. Don't need to take notes or anything. And you'll have all of this information, and it's all readily available out there, but just to have it all in one place is nice. Right now, we move on up to the third chakra, which is the solar plexus. And the oil that we chose for the solar plexus, anointers, are you available? The oil is peppermint. And so this is going to give us a nice little energetic charge also. Peppermint is the oil of a buoyant heart. And here's the story about peppermint. In addition to just being like, whew, wildly fun and an energetic experience, what peppermint does is it allows us to rise up out of the emotional waters and end up like a water skier on the lake of emotional waters. So peppermint allows us to have a reprieve from whatever emotional stuff we're going through in the moment. But here's the thing. Humans, we're so good at becoming addicted to anything in this reality. I mean, the easy stuff, drugs and alcohol, yep, that's the easy stuff to be addicted to. But then, I mean, exercise. That's right, I don't exercise very much. I don't want to get addicted. All right, good. We got a little humor still going. It's not that late that we're out of the humor zone. But I mean, seriously, anything. Exercise, sex, food, spirituality, fill in the blank for yourself. And so it's the same way with peppermint. And so some of us might like to just keep kind of huffing on the peppermint and never have to dip back into the emotional waters. I get it. Things have been pretty intense for all of us this lifetime. But here's the thing. When we chose to come here, we didn't choose to come here to swim in the shallow end of the pool. Okay? And I got to tell you, just by the fact that you're here at a Star Knowledge Conference with all these speakers and all this information and all this invitation to expansion, tells me that you're not hanging out on the surface of the water, that you're allowing yourself to get fully immersed in the emotional waters and feel it. Laura made a little joke earlier about emotional men and me thanking me for crying so much. And I got to tell you that I do. I give equal time to crying as I do to laughing. But for me these days, I can't stuff an emotion. So if I feel like crying, and I don't care if there's 400 people in front of me and I got a microphone up to my mouth, I'm going to cry. Okay? And if I feel like laughing, I'm going to laugh. And so it's just this embracing of whatever's going on with us. And so, but believe me, I keep peppermint on hand. I don't drink coffee anymore, and I do a lot of driving. I'm in a new city every 1 to 3 days. This is my full-time life, consistent life. There's no anything else for me. Peppermint is right there in the dash. Be driving down the road, the lines start to all look like they're fading together, and I'm popping the peppermint open. I'm like, woo! Okay. So just feeling that energy. The emotions addressed with peppermint: unbearable pain, intense depression, heaviness, pessimistic, and muddled. So this takes us into the solar plexus. It's our third chakra, and I just need to be transparent and upfront and real with you. Solar plexus is completely my problem chakra. I mean, completely. So here's how it works for me. I get stressed, send it all to my stomach. And then because I'm stressed and I'm all uptight in my stomach, what do? I emotionally eat. And so it's like the solar plexus double whammy. But look at me how I'm talking about it. You think I'm judging myself about it? Does it at all feel like I'm giving myself a hard time about it? Or that I feel I'm less because I have a problem chakra? I mean, how many speakers would get up and really say, hey, here's the stuff that, like, you know, knocks me off the pedestal? And here's the thing. I never want to be on that pedestal. I've said it before and I'll say it every time. The only time you'll see me on a pedestal is when we're all on that pedestal together, because we're all worthy and deserving of it, and I'm no more special than anyone else. Okay? So, solar plexus: personal power, will, energy, metabolism, effectiveness, self-esteem, social identity, and happiness. Okay, I got triggered just saying some of those words. The statement for the solar plexus is, I am strong. Here's what I've come up with. All of our chakras can be a little bit off, but if our solar plexus is off, we're in trouble. Because look at our lives. Look at how we're calling on that core energetic in everything we do. Okay, and so while it's my problem chakra, I'm very much in touch with it. And maybe that extra attention allows me to stay in a place where I have that access to that core energy. And so I am strong is the statement. When we are balanced in our solar plexus, we're warm, we're confident, we're empowered, and we're energetic. And when somebody else is imbalanced in their solar plexus, or me, we can experience powerlessness, stomach-related issues, anger, and confusion. And quite honestly, in the last 72 hours, I've cycled through everything on the balanced list and everything on the imbalanced list. And that's just the way it is. I'm human. I'm having my human experience. I don't own that I've experienced feelings of being powerless, you know, or the stomach-related stuff, or any anger and confusion. I don't own that I'm angry. I acknowledge and I recognize that I'm feeling anger. I'm not anger, I'm feeling it. So what do you do when you're on fire? What's that thing we all learned as kids? What do you do when you're on fire? Stop, drop, and roll. And so I don't get on fire in my life, but when I'm emotionally triggered, stop, drop, and roll. Or stop, drop, and bowl. And here's the point. I spent a lot of time in my life feeling an emotion, feeling something I didn't like, and I didn't want it to be part of me. And I said, go away, I'll deal with it later. And then later never came around. And so I just started stacking up all this stuff in the recesses of my mind. And it got so like noticeable in there for me, you know, going into the recesses of my mind just to check things out, that I literally, this is funny, I figuratively put up tie-dye tapestries. I literally put up tie-dye tapestries in my head. No, figuratively put up tapestries just to kind of hide it and like, oh, there's nothing back there. But at some time in our life, we all need to then, you know, come to terms with all of that. So anymore, stop, drop, and roll, or stop, drop, and bowl. I'm dealing with whatever it is that's there. And it's not like, oh, gee, Dr. Dream, you're on the ascension path. You know, you're conscious and you're aware. Why are you? I mean, you shouldn't be feeling anger. You shouldn't be feeling resentfulness. You should. And it's like, no, guess what? Whatever I'm feeling in that moment is exactly what I should be feeling in that moment. And it needs to be acknowledged. And it needs to be, we need to be present with it. And that's how we move through it. All right. So, I'm like looking at notes that say the second chakra. I love this podium. Everything slides off. It keeps me on my toes. Third chakra practice. If you are challenged in your solar plexus, write down what angers you and burn it. And quick little story. Years ago, I did the Sedona intensive in Sedona. And it was 1 week with 7 practitioners, one-on-one with me, with a whole buildup of writing for like weeks before it. And it was an amazing, powerful experience. And at the end, and you write all these letters, you write letters to everyone that wronged you. But by the time you get to someplace in the letter, you realize your role in it. And so you start shifting energies. But at the end of the week, they send you with a shovel and all your papers up into the red rocks. And I dug a big hole and I tore up all my papers into the smallest little pieces I could. And I put them in that hole and I lit them on fire. And I did my dance around that hole and just like, yeah, release, release. And then I urinated on it. And then I threw all the dirt back in. And I get it. It's a little bit extreme. But cathartic to no end. Like my entire life changed. And I don't know exactly what it was. May have been the urine, may have been the dirt. I'm not sure. But so just think about it. If you're angry and you stop and you become present with that anger and you write down, I'm angry and I'm effing pissed off at this and you know, F this and that, and I'm just getting it all out, okay? No one's going to read it but you. Just getting it all out and really, really digging into whatever that anger is. And then take it and read it and mull it over. And when you're ready, take a lighter to it and watch it just flame up. Have a coffee can there or something like that and just put it in there and watch it flame up and know that you're releasing it. We call it a Jedi mind trick, okay? Because it's only going to work if you believe it. But if you believe it, if you can wrap your belief system around this, that you are doing this physical manifestation of releasing this emotional trigger, it works. And what's easier than that? I mean, seriously, it could take like 3 or 4 minutes. That's not very much to put into releasing some anger. So may want to try that. Angels, if you could find your E-bowl for the solar plexus. strong as this statement. I have another gift for you right now. So it would be really kind of a crummy thing for me to do, to stir up all this stuff inside you and then possibly leave you without having you really go through whatever process you need to go through. I said before about the new paradigm of giving and not expecting or wanting anything in return. So I offer 15-minute no-charge consultations, no charge. You go to my website, touroflove.com, and you can book it there. It coordinates with my schedule, and you get a confirmation right there on the spot. And I block a half hour. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, 15-minute consultation, no charge. And here's how it works, because it's not just one time. You can get an unlimited number of no-charge consultations with me. That's right, unlimited. That means no limit. But here's how it works. There's a catch. But the catch isn't what you're going to give to me. The catch is, what are you able to show to yourself and to show to me? And so I'm looking to find your level of commitment and dedication to yourself. And if you're committed and dedicated to yourself, I will mirror that back to you. And here's the one catch. This is how I know you're committed and dedicated to yourself. There's an assignment at the end of every no-charge call, no-charge consultation. There's an assignment. And if you do that assignment, you'll get another consultation with me. You'll get another call. This can be about how to get rid of fears, how to integrate, whatever, how to move into self-forgiveness, self-love, anything you want to talk to me about. I don't dictate what we're talking about, but it needs to be something that you are focusing on because you're choosing to expand who you are and what your experience is here. And then you got me wrapped around your finger, and I will completely step up and love and support you and hold space for you in this process. All right. So we're moving into the fourth chakra. You know what? Before we move into the heart chakra, let's just take a moment, close your eyes, and feel what you have just done. Okay? Because we're all healers, but not for anyone else but ourselves. So if you're feeling anything, if you've shifted anything inside of you, we may be, helped be a catalyst for it, but you did it. You allowed it. This is you. So right now, we just went through our 3 lower chakras. So feel into your 3 lower chakras. How does it feel? What have you allowed to move? Have you allowed that energy to move? Did you stir it up and get it out? Feel that. And then just remember, when we open a doorway and we go through it, that doorway is always available to us. So you don't need me to come to your house with 111 bowls, although I will, and take you through this again. Just think of it as the etheric iTunes library, and just call up this energetic that you're feeling right now because you've owned it and you did this. So now we're going to move into the heart chakra. And I have to say about the heart chakra that every single person on this planet has every rational reason to filter, to shut down, and to protect themselves through their heart chakra, because we have all had our hearts broken. We have all gone through turmoil through our hearts and our emotional bodies. None of us, might be a stretch, but I'm going to say it. None of us got all the love and attention we deserve from our parents. Now, my feeling is that if we did get all the love and attention that we deserved and were worthy of from our parents, that it would completely screw up human evolution. And I want to share why. Because if we're able to get everything we need from outside of us, what motivation, what reason, what inspiration is there to go into the inner journey? So, I have a soon-to-be 16-year-old daughter. I've had sole custody of her since she was 4. And I have done everything in my ability to be the most stellar, loving, incredible father that I can be for her. And I know I've screwed her up. And I know that that screw up is exactly why she chose me. And that, just like my parents did for me, gives me enough to work on the rest of my life. But it's true, because here's what happens. We look for that love and attention from our parents. We don't get it. And what do? We go out into the real world and we look for that love and attention in every relationship that we have. And what happens? It doesn't work. In the short term, it works wonderfully. Okay, we find those amazing qualities in that other person outside of ourselves. And you'll hear people say, oh, they complete me. Giant red flag. Because here's the thing, people, you're already complete right now, just as you are. You are complete. And if you're not, that's fine-tuning. Give me a call, we'll work on it. But you're complete. When we start to project that another person completes us, short term, it's going to work out fine, okay? That's the honeymoon period. That's that bliss of I'm in love and we're everything. But in the long term, you're basing your completeness on another human being, they're not going to be able to live up to that expectation. At some point, they will let you down. Your completeness comes from what you have achieved inside yourself. And then it's reflected to you outside of yourself. And then when we come together as complete beings, we complement each other. And that's the beautiful energy. So we're going to play right now. All the oils we use tonight are doTERRA except the rose. This is the rose frequency anointing oil. This is my own that we've developed. And rose is so powerful. You know, I get a shot glass of rose oil. I don't drink, but everyone knows how big a shot glass is. It's an ounce, and it cost me $740. And so we sell these little vials of rose oil for $84, and I'm sending them out some every week. But here's what I know. When we spend $84 on something this small, we use it like really lightly and probably tuck it away somewhere and forget where we put it because it was so expensive. And I'm like, rose oil is too freaking powerful not to be using it all the time. And so we created this roll-on that you're using that is coming around right now. And so we have a product that's $25. I mean, my thing about the rose oil and just my life is if I pass you twice in the grocery store, it's licensed for me to hug you and put rose oil on you. And yes, I have severely embarrassed my daughter. Rose oil is the oil of divine love, and it holds a higher frequency than any other oil on the planet. In the notes you're going to get from me, I show you the charts on that, and then I have a website, therosefrequency.com, and it's got 300 pictures of roses that when my dog takes me for a walk, I take photos of. And it's got my story and some other, the study and everything. Rose oil is a powerful healer of the heart. It supports an individual in reaching heavenward and contacting divine love. So that's what we're talking about here, divine love. Rose teaches the essential need for divine grace and intervention in the healing process. If one can simply let go and choose to receive divine love, that's your free will there. So if you can choose to let go and receive divine love, we are wrapped in charity, warmth, and compassion. Rose invites individuals to experience the unwavering, the unchanging, the unconditional love of the divine. Feel that as you breathe this in. This love heals all wounds, all hearts, restores an individual to authenticity, wholeness, and purity. Rose embodies divine love and teaches individuals how to contact this love through prayer, meditation, and opening the heart to receive. Fourth chakra, heart chakra. It's all about love, understanding, trust. Here we are with trust again. And now we're relating it to the heart and relationships. That's got to be a trigger for many of us. Hope, openness, compassion, balance, and forgiveness. And the statement for the heart chakra is, I am loved. I am loved. When we're balanced in the heart chakra, we're compassionate, we're nurturing, we're forgiving, and we're understanding. Feel those triggers. When someone else is imbalanced in the heart chakra, they may have heart-related health issues, coldness toward others, despair, and feeling unworthy of love. So what do we do as a practical exercise if we're challenged in the heart chakra? Do something really incredibly freaking nice for yourself and don't wait for anyone else to do it. Take yourself out for a nice meal. You know, do something that just makes you happy and reminds you how much you love you. I love flowers. And if I waited for anyone to give me flowers, because it's not generally like the thing that people do, gift men flowers, I would never get flowers. So I go out occasionally and I buy myself flowers. I live full in a 26-foot travel trailer. I put them on my dinette. I see them no matter what I do in there. And every time I see them, I look at them and I say, yeah, I love myself that much. I mean, that's how I practice self-love. I stop in the middle of the day to put some oil on myself. While I'm putting it on, I say, yeah, I love myself this much. I mean, there's little tricks that we can do that just remind us, that just flip that switch. And that's what we're talking about. Angels, if you would find your heart bowl, which is an F. I got my brace on. All right, we're going to move on up to the throat chakra. This is our fifth chakra, and if I can have my oil anointers, the oil that we're the oil that we're using for the throat chakra is lavender. It's the oil of communication. So let me just throw a little something out here. I've been alerted that it's 10:30. We have 3 more chakras left. I'm just going to suggest that if you need to go. We're going to just continue with this and try and streamline it a little bit if that's okay, so we don't have to stop. I appreciate it. I so love that. Thank you so much. And everyone's just been so great that's doing all this, and you guys have done a great job. Oil of communication. Lavender allows us to let go of any blocks we have to communication. Lavender allows us to let go of any blocks we have to what it really means to stand in our honest truth and to share it. And that's what this is about. I often think that the throat chakra should be called the throat and ear chakra, so we can give equal time to listening as we do to expressing ourselves. It's a two-way street, and as soon as we turn it into a one-way street, there's trouble. So the emotions addressed with lavender, oh, by the way, it encourages emotional honesty and insists that one speak their innermost thoughts and desires. So I do a lot of individual work with people, and I'm blown away by how many people need fine-tuning in their throat chakra. And the first thing I say is, are you holding your truth back from anyone? And immediately the answer is yes. So I'm figuring that probably almost all of us, to some extent, are holding our truth back from some people. And so I say, why would we do that? Well, because maybe we think they're not ready for our truth. Now, this is an interesting concept, because really, maybe we flip that around and we say, maybe they're just waiting for us to share our truth and to be in our honesty, and to be able to express that and to be in our authenticity, so it gives them permission to move into that themselves. And here's the other side of that. If we, you, me, are completely wrong about that, then if you're completely wrong about that, it doesn't matter, because you shared your truth, because you were authentic. And we start to run into issues when we stop being authentic. So sometimes maybe instead of not sharing our truth, maybe all we need to do is frame it in a way that it will be more palatable to the people that we're sharing it with, without compromising what our truth is. All right. So the throat chakra, communication, sound, vibration, self-expression, listening, speaking, and writing. And the statement for the for the throat chakra is, I am expressive. When we're balanced in the throat chakra, we're self-expressive, creative, honest, and communicative. And when someone else is imbalanced in the throat chakra, they may be self-righteous, talk too much, lack creativity, indecision, hold back, be quiet. So inconsistency and having trouble expressing their thoughts. The fifth chakra practice, express yourself through art, write for yourself, and talk only to people that will listen. This is called the lost art of holding space. Holding space is, I don't see you as broken. I don't see you as needing fixing. I don't see you as needing an answer from me. But maybe just for me to create that container and hold space for a person so they can find their own truth, come up with their own answers. We have our answers. And so this thing, when people come to us and we think it's up to us to fix them, we're completely off base there. Holding space and giving them the opportunity to find what's real for them. So angels, if you will find your G bowl for the throat chakra. The statement is, I am expressive. Okay, angels. We move on up to the third eye. Oil anointers. Did we lose her? She's back up. Grab someone else. All right, so this oil is Serenity, and it is the calming blend. It is also called the oil of forgiveness. Powerful effect on the heart, may calm feelings of hostility, fear, anger, jealousy, rage, and resentment. So it might just be nice to have this on hand in case any of that happens to pop up and we're looking for a good exit strategy from it. Serenity fosters tenderness and love in every relationship. It assists the heart in remaining whole by practicing principles of forgiveness. Forgiveness starts with ourselves. We need to always see what our role in anything that we're experiencing is. And so if you have some challenging, less than comfortable situation with someone, you back away from it, you take them out of the equation, and you say, what's my role in this? Why am I creating this feeling that I'm feeling right now? How did this happen? What is this in me that's connected to it? All right, the third eye, psychic abilities, channeling, telepathy. I like to call it telepathy, astral travel, visions, intuition, inner knowing, connection to higher self. The statement is, I am connected. I am connected. When we're balanced in the third eye, we're intuitive, we're imaginative, we're visual, and we're insightful. And when someone else is imbalanced in their third eye chakra, lack vision, nightmares, migraines, manipulative, religiously dogmatic, non-assertive, oversensitivity to feelings of others. Anyone with that? Afraid of success. Oh, sorry. And unable to distinguish between ego and higher self. Again, it's not about judging ourselves. It's about seeing what's real with us and this particular chakra. The sixth chakra practice. Daydream and visualize what you wish to manifest in your life. Meditate and focus on the present. Brings me to another gift for you. I have a program called 21 Days to Change, the Conscious Creation Program. It's a 105-page PDF. I called it a workbook for the first week, and then I said, who's going to want to do a workbook? Sounds like entirely too much work. We call it a playbook now. I want to gift it to you. But here's the thing. That's the gift right there. You get the 105-page PDF. If you print it out, you're telling me you're committed and dedicated. You get 4 phone calls, no charge. The first phone call is before you even start the program. I'll give you tips, tricks, and techniques to make it more available for success. The other 3 phone calls are because it's a 3-week program. 21 days is commonly known to be the number of days that we need to change a habit or establish a new habit. And I'll do 1 phone call a week with you for 3 weeks. And it's to love you and to support you in your process, to assist you, whatever you need. And also I call it comfortable accountability. That is, geez, I got a really busy week and I wouldn't really do this program this week, but I have this phone call with Dr. Dream on Friday and I don't want to tell him I didn't do it this week. Comfortable accountability. The bottom line is, I'll play whatever role you need me to play that serves your highest self or your whole self. And I'm not asking you for anything except for you to be committed and dedicated to yourself. And if you're not committed and dedicated to yourself right now at this time in what's going on with the collective, in what's going on with our reality right now, you need to give your head a shake and do a double take and say, hey, what's up with me? Okay, just putting it out there. And we're running a little low on time. I got 16 minutes before they lock the doors. So if I don't reach that, we all may be having a little slumber party in here tonight. All right. I am connected. And we went through all of that. And the angels, if you could find your A bowl for the third eye chakra. All right. We're now up to the crown chakra. We're now up to the crown chakra. We'll stop with these bowls and we'll move on to the next. The oil for the crown chakra could be, I consider this to be the most important oil for right now on this planet based on what we're going through and everything that's happening. The oil is frankincense, and it is the oil of truth. Frankincense reveals deceptions and false truths. It invites individuals to let go of lower vibrations, lies, deceptions, and negativity. This oil helps create new perspectives based on light and truth. Isn't this what's happening right now? We're seeing through it all. If we hadn't seen through it in all the other elections prior to this year, we're seeing through it now. And it's up to us then not to be the, victim to all this BS that's going on outside of us, but for us to rise up to all of this, not give in to the fears, to realize that things are coming to light, things are coming to the awareness of the masses. We maybe knew all this before this, but there's a whole group of the population that has their head so far up in the sand that they're missing this. And so they need to see this, and they need to experience this, and they need to hear the ridiculousness of Trump, and they need to see the falsehoods of everything revolving around Hillary. Okay, I don't vote. I don't vote because the system's broken, and if I vote, I continue to enable a broken system. That's just me. All right. Frankincense assists in pulling the scales of darkness from the eyes, the barriers from the mind, and the walls from the heart. Through connecting the soul with its inner light, this oil reveals the truth. It supports in creating a healthy attachment with one's father. So if you didn't have that, it's not too late. Time to play with some frankincense. It reminds us, any one of us that have felt abandoned or forgotten in our lives at some point, and who hasn't, it reminds us that we are loved and protected. It's a very powerful oil, but it's also gentle, like a loving father who nurtures and guides and protects. Frankincense shields the body and the soul from negative influences and assists the soul in spiritual evolution. Emotions addressed: abandonment, spiritually disconnected, distant from Father, unprotected, and spiritual darkness. Crown chakra, universal consciousness, all-knowing, cosmic connection, the God source, enlightenment, and gateway to other dimensions. We want to foster the crown chakra where we're all at right now. The statement for the crown chakra is, I am divine. I am divine. When we're balanced in the crown chakra, we're open-minded, we're inspired, and we're spiritually connected. When someone else is imbalanced in the crown chakra, they experience hopelessness, depression, and alienation. Real quick, depression. I know that depression is all about filtering or closing down the crown chakra, because if we're in this experience, in this reality, in these meat suits, and we're not connected to source, spirit, and see our lives as a spiritual experience, this place sucks. Okay, so if you want to know about depression, cut off your connection to source and you'll be right there, because then nothing makes sense here. So if you know people are depressed or you're one of those people, happy oils are the citrus oils. Peppermint would be a good one, and frankincense would be excellent. And then come on over to me for some crown bowl action, and we can do that over the phone also. Anything that I can do in person, I can do with you over the phone. All right. 7th chakra practice. Ask for what you want, write down your intentions, connect with your higher power, and write down all good things in your life. That's the 21-day program, and that's an invitation for you. 4 or 5 days into the 21-day program, you will see changes in your life. Okay? It's easy, it's simple, but it takes you committing to doing it. And I'll be right there by your side for all of that. Angels, if you will find your B bowl. All right. Take a moment again. We've just gone through 7 chakras. I can't say what your experience is because you've guided your experience. You've allowed whatever has happened to happen the same way we do this in our lives. It's based on our attention and our intention. And so feel into what you've accomplished in the last hour and a half in here. Feel that energy. Feel how it feels. Feel how it feels to release. Feel how it feels to not judge yourself, but to accept yourself and to love yourself and to be real, raw, and transparent with you and to acknowledge and recognize what's really going on with you. Feel that. All right, now, angels, if you could prepare, we're going to do all the bowls at once. We're going to do this before they lock us in here. And so for you in the audience, and you on the live stream, close your eyes and just get out of the way. Just allow this experience. Okay. I want to thank each of you. We did what's normally a 2.5 to 3 hour experience in an hour and 45 minutes. And so that was pretty good. I want to thank the angels. While I'm doing this, could a few of you take these out there and let's just spritz everybody. This is our rose frequency hydrosol. Powerful, I call it the nectar. I want to thank each of you for coming here tonight, for staying the whole time, for being part of this experience, and for showing up, okay? But no, I don't mean for showing up here tonight, but it is connected to that. If you weren't showing up in your lives, you wouldn't be here right now. This wouldn't have attracted you, it would have repelled you. Everyone in this room right now, I love you and I honor you because you have stepped up to your lives, and that's what it's going to take right now for us to do what we need to do on this planet, and for humanity, and for all those that don't quite have a clue about it yet. We're on that leading edge. We're on the crest of the front wave. And it's up to us. It's up to us to do the fine tuning. It's up to us to live our lives, not to teach anyone anything, but to be an example for ourselves and everybody else. And if there is anything that I can do for you to assist you on your journey, I want you to call on me. The last offer is my business cards are back there, and on my business card is my cell phone number. And I know that when the stuff hits the fan, it's not between 9 to 5 during the business day. My stuff hits the fan at about 3, 4 in the morning. You have my cell phone number now. You call me when your stuff hits the fan, and know that I'm going to hold space for you to find the answer. And I will be there to love and support you. And if it's 3, 4, 2 in the morning, it doesn't matter to me. I keep my cell phone on. This is not a hollow offer. There's no hollow offers I've made tonight. I'm here to be in service to you, the collective. And it's because I love you all so much. And there's a paradigm here, and that is that someone like me can go around and have this huge open heart and nobody takes advantage of me. And my life is a beautiful expression, and it comes back from all of you. I appreciate you. I thank you for being here. I want you to know that if anybody wants a bowl this weekend, they're 25% off. Okay? We did this. I took a chance doing this and not asking to make this a workshop, you know, where I could get some money for it. I would like to say that if you've been touched by this experience, please make a donation into one of the bowls in the back, and whatever you donate tonight goes to Nepal tomorrow morning. Okay, so, and I'll add whatever I need to add to it to make it enough for them to appreciate it. But I'm asking if it works for you and it doesn't create any stress or any issues in your own lives, to leave 10 or 5 or 1 or $20 back there, that you're making a difference for people. And if you can't do it, don't you worry about it, because you've made a difference by being in this room tonight and being part of this experience. Thank you, angels. I love you dearly. I couldn't do this without you. And thank all of you for being here, for being supportive and supporting yourself in your own process of personal development and your evolution. I love you, and good night.
We'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.